All right, San Diego Sports 760 on this Monday afternoon. John Schaefer with you. And there's a lot to get to over the next 3 hours. Kevin Acee is our Padres Insider. There is a big announcement coming up in about 60 seconds. All right. So we do have a big announcement. We've been waiting on it. I specifically have been waiting on for like 4 months. But who's been counting? I've been counting. Kevin Acee is going to join us at 3:30. Dave Fleming, longtime radio voice of the San Francisco Giants, Padres and Giants coming up at 6:40 tonight. Dave Fleming is going to swing by at 4 p.m. We've got great giveaways for you here today as well. We'll get into all of it. And of course, we'll recap the opening weekend of the season for the San Diego Padres. Look back on this past weekend in March Madness as well. But without further ado, all right. So my former co-host, right? I can reference my former co-host, right? Yeah. Brent says no. So the previous iteration of the show, Jon and Jim, was on the air for the better part of 4 years. Jim, as he described the reasons as to why, moved back east to be with family, right? His wife, Erin, they're trying to start a family. She's got family out east. Completely understandable. So Jim has moved on. We've been doing, obviously, afternoons now for months on end. I don't even know when he left, Brent. He left forever ago. Anyway, here we are. We're about to start April. It's almost April Fool's Day, but this is not a joke. Without further ado, I'm going to welcome my brand new co-host here on San Diego Sports 760. There's the drum roll. Please welcome a San Diegan, an Aztec alum, a terrific, terrific voice in all things Southern California sports, including the NBA, my good friend, Alan Sliwa. Schaefer and Sliwa.
What is going on, Mr.
the
Schaefer?
Air. All right, here's what I want to do real quick.
Great to meet you, by the way. I don't think we've ever met.
Look at the bottom line there.
That's it.
Schaefer and Sliwa on the air on San Diego Sports 760, weekdays from 3 to 6. Now, that's the key, Alan.
Yes.
Because when I was here with Jim, it was weekdays from 2 to 6. The big upgrade, in addition to you, is the show is now 3 to 6.
1 hour. There you go.
So we're 3 to 6, man. It is great to be in the studio with you. We did a short show on Thursday from downtown, which is a lot of fun. And here we are. Day one, man. There's nothing like day one.
This is a lot right now. Got to be honest. This is kind of a lot for me right now.
Like we said, though, on Thursday, it's like opening day, everyone wraps their, like, they put so much into opening day.
Yeah.
The more important day is Tony Gwynn opening day. It's like day 2 and day 3 and day 4. But I'm really looking forward to this. You've been one of the most frequent visitors probably in the history of the station. You're with us for a zillion different radio hits on Jon and Jim over the years. And it's good to be with you talking San Diego sports, which I know is near and dear to your heart.
Brother, this is awesome. I'm very, very excited to be here. I really am. This is something I kind of thought about for a long time. Obviously, I was in the LA market for a number of years, but it's my roots. My roots is San Diego. Obviously, very, very happy to be here. It's an honor to serve the city that you're from and where you're born and raised, and love our market, love our city. I think we've got, I know I don't need to tell you this, just unbelievable opportunity in the sports market. And like I said, it's an honor. It really is an honor to be here. I'm a big fan of your work. You know, I was a big fan, as you know, of what you and Jim used to do together, and was always a listener. And this conversation started whenever it did, a couple of months ago or so. And I'm really, really excited to be sitting in this seat and continue to build with you, and to be on 3 to 6 in San Diego, California on 760, who's got obviously a phenomenal signal. I'm excited about it. I really am.
I appreciate you saying it. And I've been a huge fan of what you've done since I first became aware of you when I moved to Southern California about 9 years ago. The amazing thing about this, what I'm most looking forward to, is the perspectives that we have, whether they're common or not, you know, whether we share them or not. I mean, you're a San Diegan. I'm not. But I've wrapped my arms around San Diego for the last 10 years. We're raising my 7-year-old son was born here.
How do you do that here?
How do you raise a child here?
No, it's just a tough city to live in.
It's tough.
You know what I mean?
It's been really hard on him. But there's nowhere I'd rather be than San Diego. Like, I hope in 25 years, I don't know if I hope to still be doing this in 25 years, but I hope in 25 years to still be in San Diego. You know, it's an amazing place. My one regret is probably getting to San Diego a little later than I wish I did.
Yeah.
Because I think it was 35, 36 when I got here. If I could do it over again, I would have gotten here in my 20s, not in my 30s. But it's an amazing place. I think it's a completely underrated sports city that we'll get into, I'm sure, at length over the coming days, weeks, months, and years. And obviously, we see what's playing out on field right now with the San Diego Padres, who were there Thursday. I mean, the scene's incredible.
Of course.
In terms of their interest and their support. They haven't gotten off to a perfect start at 1-2, but there's a myriad of topics when it comes to San Diego. It's not just Padres. It's not just Aztecs. Obviously, the recent history with professional soccer in this town with SDFC and the San Diego Wave, but there's all these unique, storylines that you're probably more aware of than I am, and I'm excited just to see what happens moving forward in San Diego, and certainly with the show as well.
It's a trip. I've come into the studio obviously a number
absolutely.
of times, but I was getting Sherry, who's over in the front area, and she was giving me a tour.
Right.
And do you know how long ago this is a trip to think about? And a lot obviously San Diegans would know that, but Extra Sports 690, which used to be a heritage station in Southern California.
Heard throughout Southern California, right?
Heard all the way through Southern California.
Yep.
I did an internship with them when I was at San Diego State University in this building. So when she's giving me the tour, I'm like, wait a minute. And now it's changed, obviously. It used to be 2 stories this. Now that's just the first floor. But she's giving me the tour. I'm like, Sherry, I used to park here. I used to park right on the other side. The 933 and all the other vans. I'm like, they had the vans there. Same vans they had there X amount of years ago, whatever the case is. No, it's cool, man. It's a little overwhelming to kind of, wrap my head around everything. And I haven't lived day to day in San Diego, and it's been over 15 years since I lived day to day.
That's incredible.
Now, I'm also would drive down to San Diego all the time. I mean, I grew up in El Cajon. All my family's in El Cajon. Probably a lot of them just finding out that I'm back on radio here, and that's not a joke. That's literal. Right. But with all that in mind, no, man, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be great. I'm looking forward to it, and I say that genuinely. And I love. There's going to be a very unique connection to the city because these are where my roots are, and I'm looking forward to rolling up my sleeves and go to work. That's it. Nothing crazy about it. I'm glad we got the initial open out of the way, because that anticipation is very odd. It's a very weird feeling to have, but I'm looking forward to it.
It's funny you say that about just kind of going to work and doing, what we do for a living. And that's what I'm looking forward to, because what I have found unique about San Diego is just the connections you make through the job. I mean, the passion that people display for their teams, whether it's, Padres, Aztecs, like we said, Wave, FC. I mean, there's a zillion different fandoms that play out. Lakers, obviously, fandom in Southern California and San Diego specifically. But it's like, it's amazing the relationship you can have with people just by talking with them each and every day. We're talking to them without necessarily talking to them. But I really do feel that. And I think the more and more you do it here, and this is an amazing signal, to your point, with 760. I mean, we connect with people in Mexico every single day, in LA, Orange County, obviously San Diego County.
We take calls from New York.
We take calls from everywhere.
From the Bronx.
With the iHeartRadio.
Whatever you need.
Actually, thank you for the reminder. If you want to welcome Alan to the show, text us, 70470, start it with the word team, or open the iHeart app, search for 760, click the red talkback mic, and you can leave a 30-second talkback, and we can play those on air, or you can call us, 877-767-4760. That's 877-767-4760. But text us, 70470, start it with the word team. We need to get you hooked up with our text line so you can see the text.
I'll be ready to go.
You'll be ready to go on those. But
I also got to get email on my phone.
You're going to need email? Sure. Yeah, you're going to need all those things.
I already told you there's a lot. It's been about a year and a half since I worked in the corporate world.
Right.
And I already got like a lot of I got to do all the training stuff, the harassment stuff.
Yeah, it's all
that stuff.
It's a lot.
It's just all sitting in my inbox, just waiting for me.
Yeah, and I oftentimes, and the thing is, if you put it off for too long, you're going to hear from someone. It's one of those things.
Give me like the
period of time you have?
Yeah, how much time?
I mean, me and
got to have more than 45 days. 60 days?
No, I don't know. I mean, some of those initial ones you got to get complete right away, but others.
What if you do it and then I could say, "Hey, I'm really close with John, so we should be good."
He did. He
told me everything, so we should be good.
I think that probably works. I think that may work. So again, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. I mentioned the fact that Kevin Acee is going to join us multiple times per week. He'll join us coming up at 3:30. We'll talk about the Padres' start to the season 1-2. They have the Giants here tonight. Dave Fleming has worked for the Giants for 20 years as their radio voice. He'll join us coming up at 4 p.m. We can get more into the Padres opening weekend, but again, we were down there Thursday.
Yeah.
We now have the benefit of seeing, the weekend through. Any 30,000-foot thoughts on just what played out over the course of the first couple of days of the season related to the Padres?
Very easy to overreact and just look at, hey, how'd they do?
Mm-hmm.
They're 1-2. They started out 0-2, obviously. When you really try to get all the details, just a couple of bad innings cost them 2 games.
Right.
I mean, listen, the first game is the first game, but the first inning cost them the game. And then the 8th inning in game 2.
Right.
But listen, I think there are a lot of positives you could take away. I think Randy Vasquez is, as many have been kind of describing him, this guy can be a real starter in the league. And that's exactly what, obviously the Padres need. I think I love the conversation already about should Mason Miller be going 4 outs in a game this early on.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think there's not much you could take away from 3 games, but you always want to win a series. They didn't win a series. Now they go up against an absolutely desperate Giants team who are 0-3. And, watching the NL West, and you're keeping an eye already on looking at what other teams are doing. It's so early. It's pathetic to be that concerned.
Yep.
And I'm being honest with you, I fall in the pathetic category where I start, already saying to myself, well, what happens here? How come this player didn't do this? How come Pivetta started with that? So there's always going to be an overreaction to any start of the season in any sport. But when the dust settles, I think the Padres obviously have a lot to figure out and to prove and to learn. And we'll get a chance to do that day to day.
It's funny because Sammy in the 2:00 hour, he's got his new show, right? Going along with Sammy Long, mentioned, well, they started 14-3 last year. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Like, if they don't win today, they'll equal their loss total through their first 17 games of last year.
Sure.
And again, to your point, and I fall into that trap as well. And I think in this world with social and how everyone reacts to everything immediately, people put standings up like it matters. And of course it doesn't, but people like it and they retweet it, they comment on it. So it's like, because people are talking about it, you almost feel like you should be talking about it too. There are no standings. It's like what I say about batting averages. It's like when you're 1 for 3, you're 1 for 3. You're hitting 333 after, 185 plate appearances. When you're 1 for 3, you went 1 for 3. Like LeBron James isn't a 50% free throw shooter if his first 2 free throws, 1 goes in and 1 doesn't. Let's let it play out over 8 games and see what someone shoots from the line.
But that is, I think that is part of our world today. That is part of sports. Like there is definitely as soon as something happens, you react to it.
100%.
You overreact to it. I mean, for what you and I do on a day-to-day basis, either we're overreacting to something or somebody's calling us and overreacting to something. So it almost kind of just that news cycle of, and then you forget about it. Like, let's put it this way. Padres beat the Giants tonight. Pivetta has a good start in his next start. Like, you'll quickly start forgetting about, well, that person's right now. Vasquez looks like the best pitcher on the Padres.
Right.
Probably it's Michael King, but you're right that it's quick where people, obviously think of things and they forget it before they know it.
All right. On the other side, we're just getting started. Schaefer and Sliwa debut episode here until 6 p.m. 2 great giveaways we'll tell you about on the other side. Plus, a look at the Padres and the Giants through a different lens. And we'll discuss that coming up next. Kevin Acee at 3:30. Dave Fleming, Giants radio voice at 4 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, San Diego Sports 760, Schaefer and Sliwa. John Schaefer, Alan Sliwa, with you from 3 to 6 weekdays on San Diego Sports 760. If you want to congratulate Alan or just wish Alan anything, if you just want to text us, 70470. You can start the message with the word team or call us, 877-767-4760.
They're already
Get that mic on.
It's a good start.
They're
You're
just
already
like
going
my
to say,
former co-host.
they're already going to say, like, come on, Sliwa, do better. What was
Now
that
we gotta
first
start
segment?
over.
What was that first segment? Do better.
Now that the mic was off, we got to start this show over. Let's redo this.
How do you want to do it?
2. All right, Kevin
Turn
Acee is
YouTube
going
off.
to join us in 10 minutes at 3:30. Dave Fleming, voice of the Giants, will join us at 4 p.m. Listen to these giveaways today. Do you know the giveaways today, Alan, by chance? I'm going to say no.
I do not. I think I saw it for a quick second there. Yeah, but
right,
by the way, your rundown, solid rundown.
Yeah, we got to get some stuff in there, but it's got us a feel for what's going on. We have good giveaways today. Charlie Puth, who didn't he perform the national anthem in the Super Bowl? We are giving away tickets to see Charlie Puth at Viejas Arena in 3 weeks, April 22nd. So I think that's a terrific giveaway. And then we've got a family 4-pack of tickets to Sesame Place here in San Diego, which is great for families.
All right.
So I'm going to allow you to choose which giveaway we're doing first this hour. Is it Charlie Puth tickets or is it Sesame Place tickets?
Sesame Place.
Sesame. I like that.
Easy one.
All right. So we'll give away Sesame Place tickets later during this 3 o'clock hour. Wait a second. Look at the phone lines right now, Alan. Look up there. What do you notice? We'll start with what you notice. On line 2, we have a surprise first caller in the history of the Schaefer and Sliwa show on San Diego Sports 760. Caller,
funny.
would you like to introduce yourself?
First time, long time. I just want to say that the new co-host of the show, John, way better than the last guy. The last guy was awful. This show is actually listenable now. So I can't wait to listen every day from 3 to 6 p.m.
I agree. See,
I actually disagree
with
him.
You
No,
disagree?
I disagree with him.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think the level of the previous co-host, I don't think we're going to hit. I think you hit your top earlier. You've hit the height of the show.
You think Sammy is the highlight?
This guy.
Jim, what
Here's
are you
the
doing?
thing, Alan. The bar was so low to begin with that anybody could clear it.
Jim, are you impressed that we're like on the air and on YouTube and have a show and we still exist?
Hey, I gave it about a 5% chance that you would last 4 months without a co-host.
I agree.
And I also gave it a less than 5% chance that you were going to get on the air today with all the new graphics and everything look good on YouTube and there's no technical problems. So honestly, like, I'm proud of you, John. You did a fantastic job in the show. Like I said, already off to an amazing start. I love this show. This show's way better than the last one.
4 hours for 4 months. You did it for 4 months.
I mean, I did that so we could get to this. Like I did that sacrifice so we could get to this point.
100%.
Now, Jim, to his credit, was also doing a 4-hour show. Now, were we discussing that off air occasionally, the length of the show and our displeasure?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
It might have come up.
Like every day, but who's going to ask, right? But no, seriously, I just wanted to say congratulations, Alan. This
Appreciate
is
you.
Awesome.
Thank you,
You
Jim.
guys are now a tandem here, Schaefer and Sliwa. I can't wait to listen every day. But no, seriously, congratulations. The show's going to be amazing. I know we're joking here, but it's good that you're back on the air. You're in San Diego, your hometown. Talking Padres, talking Aztecs, stuff that you love. So it's awesome that you're filling my seat and taking the torch, and you're going to run with it, and you guys are going to have great success.
Appreciate you, my
Thank
friend.
you, man.
I will. I'll see you on YouTube.
When's your next show? When's your next show with him?
We'll do a wrap-up show, not till Wednesday night. We're kind of cutting back a little bit, but the YouTube live because you're doing Hoops Talk each and every day.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. First, I'll say this because Jim is good people, so he obviously represented the city. Both you and him represent the city, and it's fantastic. And I'll still continue, obviously, listening to the wrap-up show. But what you guys built too in San Diego, that's pretty damn impressive. And I don't know what both of your guys' vision was when it started, but I gotta imagine you kind of surpassed some of that vision, and the fact that you guys still get to do what you guys do in your style, and obviously the listeners that you gained over time, whether they're all in San Diego or they're Padre fans, it could be anywhere.
Sure.
Obviously, YouTube, it's
reaches everywhere.
You could be anywhere. Yeah. That's phenomenal that you guys get to continue that as well. I'm sure that's important for both of you guys. And so there's got to be a piece of that for the both of you, that it's like you're not really losing anything in the sense of you two being together and still getting a chance to do these shows together.
I prefer Jim to be on the other coast. It works out better for me that he's 3,000 miles away. All right, let's go to Raul, who wants to weigh in. 877-767-4760. Kevin Acee coming up in about 5 minutes. Raul, you're on with Schaefer and Sliwa. Thanks for calling in.
Hey guys. I just wanted to say I have to agree with that first caller. This Sliwa guy's way better than the last host you had. But in all honesty, I just want to call and congratulate Mr. Alan Sliwa. I'm a big fan of his, going back to Travis and Sliwa on a different station out in LA. So I was such a big fan, I actually created a burner account called Alan Sliwa's Murphy Bed.
That's right.
That's amazing.
That account, yeah. So I was able to win Caller of the Year thanks to that burner account. But yeah, I just want to say I'm super stoked that Sliwa's on, and just looking forward to listening to you guys going forward.
Appreciate it, Raul. Thank you, man. Thank
Very
you
kind,
for
man.
thank you for calling in. It is kind of funny to go back to 5 days a week. YouTube, we're doing it, right? You're doing it. You're putting up content all the day, every time.
Would
and
you
I
prefer 4? Do you want to do 4?
No, we need
do
5.
Okay.
Yeah, we need 5, and we'll do those. We'll fill in those 3 hours.
All right. 5 days a week, Schaefer and Sliwa underway on this Monday afternoon. And on the other side, let's turn our attention to the Padres. Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, as the Padres get ready for the Giants, the latest on the ownership situation as well. Kevin Acee joining us next live on San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer for our friends over at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place, and you can experience just an amazing property. The hotel and spa at Jamul Casino Resort. They've got elevated luxury, refined hotel stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, all the excitement of Jamul Casino Resort seamlessly brought together in one unforgettable destination. Take your stay to the next level with exclusive hotel packages crafted for the ultimate escape. You will love their lobster buffet every day. You can enjoy it. All you can eat lobster every day. Dozens of other delicious stations. Start your morning with their new signature breakfast buffet Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., featuring made-to-order omelets, fresh fruit, savory favorites as well. And in addition, make sure to swing by Tony Gwynn's Endless Dining. Enjoy San Diego's favorite endless dining experience Wednesday through Sunday at Tony Gwynn's Sports Pub. It's at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
This report is brought to you by Staples. The Padres open a 3-game series against the Giants tonight down at Petco Park. It's going to be Landon Roop going versus Walker Buehler. First pitch is set for 6:40. Arizona and Michigan will head into the Final Four this weekend, deadlocked as the favorites to win the national title, and they are nearly at a pick'em for their head-to-head showdown. The Wildcats and Wolverines are both plus 175 to take home the national championship, while Illinois sits at plus 400 and UConn is at plus 550 according to DraftKings odds. Tonight, we have Lakers basketball on San Diego Sports 760 when they take on the Wizards. Our pregame coverage will begin at 6:45, and we'll have the tip at 7. Want a great way to boost your brand? Custom labels at Staples will help packages pop, shipments stand out, and takeout boxes really take off. Shop now through April 18th and save 30% off on all custom labels. Staples, that was easy.
All right, San Diego Sports 760. We'll get Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, in here momentarily. Padres and Giants playing game 1 of a 3-game series coming up at 6:40 downtown at Petco Park, where we were just a few days ago. So we'll get Kevin's thoughts on the first 3 games. I mean, I'll probably ask him off the top, just like good, bad, and ugly. I guess the good is obviously Randy Vasquez, right? The bad is probably that 4-run inning on opening day and just getting out of the gates, losing 8-2, or maybe that's the ugly. Then the bad is probably they didn't hold that 8th inning lead in game 2.
Yeah, I think if you start looking at just individual players, you're like, all right, Jeremiah Estrada, obviously not the 8th that he wanted to have, not his opportunity that he wanted to have.
Yep.
I think that's the only rub I have over the first 3 games is game 2. I mean, obviously they were great in game 3.
Yep.
Pitchers held it down. You just scored enough. Not like the Padres are cranking the ball, other than Laureano, if you want to say. But the only rub you have is game 2. And in game 2, obviously it came down to that 8th inning where you just had a really, really poor inning, but you loved Michael King's start. You loved what he was able to do. You loved the fact that they just got a chance to, all right, come off of as bad of a start Pivetta had. It's like, okay, that looked more like Padres baseball. Didn't go your way, but that's kind of the only. That's it. You face 2 of the best pitchers in baseball,
sure.
Literally 2 of the best. Now that's what would happen if you're in a postseason. So, but that's the only rub that I would just have is that 1 inning.
Kevin Acee is our Padres Insider. Kevin, did you ever think, as part of your resume, it would include being the first ever guest on the all-new Schaefer and Sliwa show on San Diego Sports 760? Did you think you would reach that?
I did not. I don't like to aim high. I don't. And so that leaves something like this as just a great thrill. And it did occur to me when you told me about this, John. So welcome, Alan. And I'm thrilled until you turn out to be another Jim.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Kevin, we were just kind of touching on this briefly. Just the good, bad, and ugly for you. The first 3 games, the first weekend, again, over 162, likely irrelevant, the way they played over these first 3 games. But what played out well and what didn't play out so well for the Padres through your eyes?
Well, certainly Randy Vasquez is the easy good, because I thought, and I thought King threw okay. So I'll throw him in there as like a very distant 1A and say, okay, that was nice since your number 1 guy got blown up and had nothing. And I'm not going to overreact to that in that he simply had nothing and it was opening day. So I guess we'll see, but that certainly didn't do anything to allay our fears. I think we talked about that on Friday. So that was great that they responded that way, that their 2 starters did. Now we get to see the back 2. So we'll have something else to talk about on Wednesday. And then let's see. I mean, the bad, obviously blowing it in the 8th. And I mean, there's 8 different ways they could have played that to maybe help Jeremiah Estrada or get Jeremiah Estrada out of that. But I'm not putting that on Stammen. The guy walked 3 guys. And then I already touched on the ugly. I do want to say about the offense, like I don't know how many runs they scored. It wasn't great. They faced 2 guys who are really good, and they faced them early. Those guys did not have your typical first game starts, except for that they're aces. And I thought they had a good plan against both of them. It didn't work out. It rarely does. And I thought that then they obviously had a really, really good plan. And it was entirely different against Jack Flaherty. And so the series went sort of like you thought it would offensively.
Kevin, what's the expectation just early on in the season, just from your standpoint? Last year, they jump out to a 14-3 start. Obviously, just an incredible start to the season. What is through the first 15, 20 games, what are you hoping to see? And I know there's the details of it, and then there's what does the record look like? Just from a record perspective, a lot of good teams in the NL. Obviously, we know how challenging the NL West is going to be. What is your hope through the first 20 games?
I don't even know if I've gotten through 20. I got through like the next road trip and said 6-6, I think. John, did we talk about that in one of our many weekly get-togethers?
Yeah.
So I because of the quality of pitching that they would be facing, and because of questions about the rotation, and then I think the quality of the opponent. So I'm looking forward to that. I arrived at the ballpark on Friday going, oh, thank goodness, that they play every day, because I'm anxious to see what it looks like. We can start to develop actual narratives. And then, of course, I'll be the one cautioning you, hey, it's only been 20 games. But at least we'll have 20 games to talk about. So what is after that? You got Seattle coming in. The American League favorites? You got Colorado. You go to Colorado, you go to Anaheim. I mean, gosh, the back half of the 20, you go to Mexico City, which who knows the last time there was insane. So 20, heck, I'd like them to be above 500. How about that? In terms of if you were going to feel good about them, how about that?
I like that. I think that's reasonable. To your point, I think a 6-6 start would allow you to get out of the gates maybe somewhere in that 11-9 range, with a good week on the other side. Kevin Acee is our Padres Insider with us right now on San Diego Sports 760. What do we know about any limitations on like a Walker Buehler and German Marquez coming up these next 2 days? Is this just like where were they? Where did they finish spring in terms of like their pitch load and what the expectations are this first time through?
I want to say high 70s or even higher, because it was when I noticed how far behind Nick Pivetta was. I don't think they reached what Michael King did, which is 91 pitches in his last spring start. But they had the full complement, and they got their 5 ups. Came out for the 5th inning. There should not be anything that is, crazy. I haven't talked to Sam and haven't talked to anyone about that, but I'm thinking in the 80s, so pretty normal.
Luis Campusano back in the lineup tonight. Is that listen? We're 4 games in, so it's not like it's that big of a deal. How much do you think they're going to try to use him this year? Especially, obviously, having Fermin there, but Campusano behind the plate, and I think just as big of a question is how much can they depend on his bat outside of just obviously what he does behind the plate.
It was kind of my number one question when I saw the lineup today. And then I saw it, I was surprised, and then it made sense to me. They had that weird off day after the 3rd game. And it's okay, let's get this guy back in there. And they obviously had planned that. And, he's been working with Buehler. And so, okay, that makes sense. I still got to think it's 2/3, 1/3 for me. And unless Campusano got super hot. And who knows if Campusano doesn't. I mean, if he never gets one of those, he's at least been fortunate enough to get hot streaks that have made his final numbers palatable. Obviously, without a hit since 2024. Now that's 24 at bats, 25 at bats. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is an ongoing question. It's probably one of the more relevant questions. But I really think that it's not like now we're at game 4, they split, that's what they're going to do. This is because you've got off days coming, and so you want to at least give Campusano some work.
Kevin, I've been asked a little bit about the latest with ownership, and obviously that's playing out behind the scenes. The recent reporting includes now this 4th party headed by Tom Gores, the majority owner of the Pistons and a minority owner of the LA Chargers, as being one of the groups that is interested in buying the Padres. I forget, maybe we've talked about this before on 760, maybe not. What do we know about Tom Gores as a potential owner? What do we know about Tom Gores and his candidacy here?
Well, I know that he's very rich and knows how to save money because he owned the Union Tribune at one time back in the 2000s and gutted the place. And I say that with, no real resentment. Like, I understand that. He owns Platinum Equity, and that's how they do business, and that's why he could afford to buy the Padres, right? That's why he could afford to buy the Pistons outright, I guess, in a couple different transactions, but he owns them now. And then has a quarter of whatever it is, a $5 billion now Chargers team. I don't know. So I'm just, I want to make sure I'm not like giving anybody any false idea that he's going to come in and cut the Padres, because that's not what you make your money. You cut newspaper staff so that you can splurge on your baseball team. And look, every one of these guys, people are going to say that, oh, they want to come in and win and all that. The proof will be when we see him, that's all. I don't have any insight, never met the man. And with a grain of salt, when the people that are involved in the sale process or people familiar with it talk about, man, all these guys are excited to come in and win. And then we look at what their reported net worths are and we go, this is going to be great. Well, you know what? Yeah, that's what people inside the Padres hope. That's what fans should hope. But we'll see when they get here.
Kevin, just to play off of that, and maybe you have reported on this, and I'm just curious with when the sale goes down, and I don't even know if there's a way to have any inside knowledge in this, but does it just come down to who paid the most? And I ask that question because if there's one thing that John Seidler could potentially, his reputation in San Diego and how he could potentially build off of what Peter Seidler's vision is obviously also to sell to the right owner. Now, whatever's said behind closed doors, who knows what happens once the person, buys the team. But has that ever been talked about? Is there a way to even determine, hey, this person's going to come in and I know they've got the best interest of San Diego or the best interest of the Padres?
I think that's a great point. And that's what they've said that they want to do. I have no insight, never been involved in a sale like this. We are changing eras in San Diego from really family ownership of that's all we've ever known to, someone like family ownership in an era when that was affordable for you just being rich, as opposed to, obscenely rich. And so I don't know. John Seidler does have fiduciary responsibility to, 8 or 9 other entities and people that are part of the ownership group who, are going to be looking to get everything that they can as well. But I couldn't agree with you more, and I've thought about it a fair amount because I really like John, and I think John was put in a bad situation. But there's not much of a mark that the John Seidler era could have, except this one, and that, to put this team in the right hands.
Yeah, it's well said. Kevin, we appreciate you taking time for us. We'll catch up with you later in the week, and thanks for being the first guest on Schaefer and Sliwa.
Oh my gosh, I'm probably going to remember it for at least a day or two. So I just want you to know it was special to me. I'll talk to you guys.
Take care. We're going to react to the ownership situation on the other side.
That's an interesting conversation to end.
And we'll do that coming up next. Plus, Dave Fleming, longtime radio voice of the San Francisco Giants, joins us at 4 p.m. Plus, we're giving away Sesame Place tickets coming up next on San Diego Sports 760. All right, San Diego Sports 760. We do remind you that we've got Final Four coverage for you Saturday, beginning at noon, right here on 760. Dave Fleming will join us, longtime radio announcer for the Giants. Will join us in about 12 minutes. We just connected with Kevin Acee. Schaefer and Sliwa, by the way, if you're new, if you're just popping in for the first time today, Alan Sliwa, John Schaefer, your new show from 3 to 6 on San Diego Sports 760. The ownership conversation is obviously an important one. Like, it's more important than what Manny Machado does this week.
Oh, yeah.
This is the future direction, obviously, of the organization. We'll know more, sooner rather than later. But it's a good point. It's like, are you just trying to get top dollar?
I know.
Or are you trying to leave it in the right hands? And there could be a huge difference in that, how that question's answered.
Yeah, I think if we've had this, and I've heard people to have this conversation as well. You think about John Seidler.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at John Seidler that he doesn't have the same want and vision as Peter Seidler.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Different person.
That
right?
happens, right? Like I'm sure your interests are going to be different than siblings, cousins, this, whatever the case is. That's not the issue. But he does have an opportunity in front of him where it's like his legacy can be on the line. His legacy can be on the line because if he says, hey, somebody's offering me, I'm just going to make up some numbers. Somebody's offering 3.5, but I don't have the best feeling that this person's going to gut payroll. He doesn't have interest in the city of San Diego and winning games. He's just going to treat it like a business, profit and loss. That's all I care about. How am I making good money? And I'm going to call it a day. Versus somebody else that's like, I want the team, but I can't offer more than 3.2. But trust me, I'm the guy. I'm the right person to lead this team, to lead this franchise, to lead San Diego, all that stuff. Does he take the 3.5? Because I think the one question that he's got to ask himself, and, obviously we're not going to get, who knows how many different people are involved, but if Peter Seidler did everything he possibly can to try to win for San Diego, this is as big of a decision as any decision Peter Seidler made. And that is, that is on John Seidler's back.
Yeah.
And to be completely frank with you, if he sold to the right owner or if he sold to the wrong owner, I will hold him accountable.
Okay, to that point.
And if he sold to the right owner, I would give him all the credit in the world. It's that critical of a decision.
To that point, as someone that grew up in San Diego, a San Diegan, what's your thoughts on Tom Gores, who owns 27% of the LA Chargers? He did not own the club when they moved. He bought in 2024. Keep in mind, 27% is more than any one group owns of the San Diego Padres right now. The Seidler Family Trust is 24% of the Padres. Tom Gores is not the majority owner of the Chargers. The Spanos family is. He bought Dean Spanos' sister's shares, I think, at 27%.
It's a lot, by the way. That's a huge percentage.
Massive percentage of the team.
I think if I'm right, too, the Buss family, they had 66%. And I think there was around that same mark, 25, 27, whatever that mark was with the Walter Group. And I think they had the first right of refusal to buy. I don't know if that's that's the same setup with the Chargers, but that's not uncommon if you have that much of a percentage.
Huge percentage.
You also have the first refusal to buy.
So, does it rub you the wrong way as a San Diegan, as someone that watched the Chargers leave the city, to potentially have the Padres bought by someone that owns the Chargers?
Yeah, it's weird.
It is, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, you look at so many different things now through lens like this. I'll give you an example because Joe Lacob. I don't even know how Joe Lacob is tied to this, but that article that had come out about Joe Lacob and the A's obviously are eventually going to move to Vegas. Oakland loses a team, and there was, do I ever think it's going to happen? I don't, that the Padres would move.
Right.
But just even the fact that that's even a shot of that there was even an article written about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then no Joe Lacob.
Right.
Granted, Lacob is a championship owner and, obviously owned the Golden State Warriors, took a franchise that was nothing. And now that franchise is worth God knows how much. And he's a mover and shaker. And look what he did, built that Chase Arena and everything else. The reason why I'm saying this is you start looking at things from a different lens. So the lens of Tom Gores, the fact that he has a stake in the Los Angeles Chargers, I can't not think about that. I do. Now, whether that's fair or not, whether that should have anything to do with him giving the Padres the best chance to win a World Series or not, I don't have the answer for you. I could look at it another way. I could say, wow, is there ever a chance that the Chargers would come back to San Diego because this guy owns a percentage and maybe just this, this market would be amazing. And if he brought him back because them in LA, nobody has interest in, I could look at it both ways, but I think I look at it more as a negative, which could be idiotic. I'm not telling you that it wouldn't be idiotic, but that's how, I think that's how somebody in San Diego kind of is wired.
I would agree. It's almost like the first impression is the impression that matters more than any other. And it's like if you go to a job interview and you get off on the wrong foot, it's going to be hard to get back in the conversation to land the job. I feel like landing the Padres from the viewpoint of owning the Chargers is not a winning hand to really enter into the conversation from. Now, I say that Peter Seidler's grandfather owned the LA Dodgers, but Peter Seidler was invested in winning and a championship pedigree in San Diego. Didn't ultimately get there, but they truly were invested in winning, right? Top 2 or top 3 payroll. So it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like each individual person is their own. And again, it wasn't Tom Gores that moved the Chargers. He bought a stake of the team 7 years after they left. Is that overly relevant to the history of the franchise and when they moved?
I think any case, the problem is it's not his fault. He didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
He wants to get into the, if he wants to get into the San Diego Padres business, and by the way, he might look at it as like, hey, this is phenomenal. This is great. This is a great franchise, voted #1 park, selling out all the time. There's also a kind of a unique thing San Diego has is this market versus LA, David versus Goliath. Like there is a little bit of that. Can he see that from the LA market and say, hey, you know what? That's great for business. I like that. Give me something that's down in San Diego. But I'll go back to it. I think the piece is you still have such a negative taste in your mouth that your pro team left after 50 years here that it's hard to not think about that. So, but I go back to the John Seidler thing. At the end of the day, all I want this man to do, because I do feel like he has such a important task in front of him. As best as you can, try to sell to the right owner. Because by selling to the right owner, you truly are. Peter Seidler took this franchise to a completely different level. Probably the reason why you're going to sell the franchise for as much as you're going to sell it for, some of that has to do with what Peter Seidler did, what he's built.
Absolutely.
The reason why you got so many, obviously fans are going to these games, but he does have a very, very big responsibility. Maybe he gets bamboozled and thinks that, hey, I'm selling to the right person, and it's not. But damn, if he does sell to the right owner, you could literally give John Seidler, even though this guy wants nothing to do with owning the team, you can give him as much praise as you can give Peter Seidler if he sells it to the right person.
Owner. I would agree with that. All right, let's get back to On-Field. Padres and Giants coming up tonight at 6:40. Longtime broadcaster for the Giants, Dave Fleming, will join us to preview the series on the other side. This is San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. The Padres open a 3-game series tonight at Petco Park against the Giants. It's going to be Landon Roop going against Walker Buehler. First pitch is set for 6:40. Arizona and Michigan head into the Final Four this weekend deadlocked as the favorites to win the title, and they're nearly at a pick'em for their head-to-head showdown. The Wildcats and Wolverines are both at plus 175 to take home the championship, while Illinois sits at plus 400 and UConn sits at plus 550, according to DraftKings. Tonight, we've got Lakers basketball on San Diego Sports 760 when they take on the Wizards. Pre-game coverage will begin at 6:45, and we'll have the tip after 7. Pros, if something runs out on the job order, it's on the Lowe's app. My Lowe's Pro Reward members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered to your job site by 8 p.m. See terms at lowes.com/shipping terms, subject to change.
It's Schaefer and Sliwa. Jon Schaefer.
When you think about the city of San Diego, some of the worst ownership groups, with the Clippers situation, with the Chargers situation, even the Padres ownership history hasn't always been smooth sailing.
San Diego's own Alan Sliwa.
I felt like we went through a stage of baseball where everything was so predetermined. Why even have a manager? What's the point of having a manager?
Here's Schaefer and Sliwa.
All right, hour 2 here on San Diego Sports 760, getting ready for game 1 of a 3-game series between the Padres and Giants down at Petco Park. This is Schaefer and Sliwa on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. Our pleasure to welcome in longtime Giants broadcaster Dave Fleming, as again San Francisco in town for this 3-game set. Dave, appreciate you taking time. I made a comment yesterday where I was looking around. I'm like, how are the Padres not playing on a Sunday during the regular season? And then I look at the Giants schedule, and it's been even more herky-jerky than the Padres, who went Thursday through Saturday. But the Giants played Wednesday, and then they didn't play Thursday, and back and forth. So I guess my question is, how much are the Giants looking forward to the normalcy of the season just setting in?
That's the first thing I heard when I walked in the clubhouse today was, okay, now the regular routine can begin. I mean, it was a really, really strange start to the year. Not an excuse. Giants didn't play well. The offense just did nothing all weekend against a really good Yankees team. But I do think it was at least a part of why the Giants didn't play well. It just felt like a very unusual start to the year. It's good to be in the national spotlight. It's good to be on the big stage. It's fun to kick off the whole season. But I do think for the Giants, and probably a little bit for the Padres too, it was just a strange way to start the year. We had the World Baseball Classic during spring training. I off the top of my head, I don't know how many Padres participated. Giants had 9 guys in the World Baseball Classic from their opening day roster. So that's a lot. So you had players who were away from camp. They came back for the last week or so. Then you break camp, you run home. There's no off days. They had the play ball luncheon. Then you have the Yankees off day, weirdness. It just has been a very strange couple weeks. Today really, truly feels like the start of the baseball season in some ways.
Well, what are the Giants expecting from Luis Ariz this year? Obviously, he's a part of the Padres for a couple of playoff runs and kind of get criticism. Not much of it was his fault. I think the bigger question was where he was used in the lineup. What are the Giants hoping for in Luis Ariz this season?
Yeah, I think 2 things. Number one, Luis wanted to play second base, and the Giants were, I don't know if they were the only team, but they were certainly one of the teams that said, yeah, we're open to that. And Luis has put in a ton of work with Ron Washington. Ron Washington, who is, I think, known around baseball as the very best infield defense coach that there is. And those two spent a lot of time during spring training working together. I think early returns really good. Ariz has been good on defense. So I think the Giants are expecting him to be able to handle himself at second. He fits a lot better on this roster as a second baseman than as a first baseman. So that's the first part of it. Second part of it is Giants have a lot of really good players. Adames is a really good player. Matt Chapman's a great player. Rafael Devers is a great hitter. All those guys strike out a lot. And even some of their role players are big power, swing and miss strikeout guys. And so I think Ariz in the Giants' mind helps balance the lineup a little bit. So you're not all one type, all one style. Ariz is kind of a style all on his own. And I think he's going to have a good year. I think he fits in really well with his team.
Dave Fleming, Giants broadcaster with us right now, San Diego Sports 760, Schaefer and Sliwa. I feel like you know probably better than I do. There's a lot of attention on new managers, especially first-time managers. Both Craig Stammen in San Diego, Tony Vitello. Obviously, both of the hires you could argue were unconventional, so to speak. Stammen, a former reliever, Tony Vitello, obviously coaching, so to speak, in college baseball. To me, it's completely unfair to do any judging. A week into a season, let alone a series into a season. Would you? Again, we're in a different world. Everyone has a comment on everything on social media, but it's not right to judge anyone's abilities off of a series or a week or even a month, probably, right?
Not right. Not fair. Not right. Yeah. Maybe not even right to judge it based on a full year. Right. I think back to Bruce Bochy coming from San Diego to San Francisco, and Bochy had all the success here, was a beloved figure here, but for whatever reason, it kind of ran its course. So Giants scoop him up. I mean, the first 2 years of Bruce Bochy in San Francisco were two of the worst Giants years we've ever had, wins and losses wise. Terrible. And it took a while for the Bochy sort of culture, talent evaluation to take hold. So it's absurd to even consider making a judgment after a weekend. The fact of the matter is, on both of these teams, these two managers are going to be really scrutinized. I believe, and maybe this is wrong here because locally you guys are focused on your guy, but I think nationally, Tony has actually taken a lot of attention and heat and whatnot away from, say, Craig, the kid who's almost a kid in Washington. The Nationals hired a 33-year-old to be their manager. Almost no talk about him. I didn't hear a lot of talk nationally about Craig Stammen. It's all about Tony Vitello. So maybe those guys should write him a little thank you note. Thanks for being an even bigger lightning rod of sort of unconventional choice. I think both these guys here in San Diego and in San Francisco are going to do good jobs. They're both good baseball people.
Dave, just had a curiosity, is it already loud up there? And what I mean by that is, obviously getting to spring training, the hire it was a very unconventional hire. Like John was mentioning, they start out 0-3, they score 1 run. And this is just the nature. I mean, we do 3 hours a day and 15 hours a week, whatever the case is. Sports talk radio is going to have their regular conversations they do. How much chatter is there around the hiring and then obviously the quick 0-3 start?
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of chatter. Now, maybe I'm just sort of being willfully ignorant, but I don't think there's a lot of Tony chatter. I mean, I think Giants fans are very concerned with the way the year started, very worried that there aren't a lot of play. I mean, I think the similarity between the Giants and the Padres is these two teams are kind of set. Like, these aren't two franchises with like a huge number of interchangeable parts, and they're going to platoon a lot of their guys, and they've got a bunch of players at the AAA level they can call upon. I mean, both these teams, Bogaerts, Machado, Tatis, Cronenworth, I mean, those guys are in there every day. Merrill, those guys are going to play every day. For the Giants, it's Jung-Hoo Lee, it's Chapman, it's Adames, it's Devers, it's Patrick Bailey. Those guys are going to play every day. And so I think the concern for Giants fans is, oh my gosh, the early returns, look at what that team looked like. Is this what we're going to watch all year long? I mean, to me, the definitive answer is absolutely not. It's going to be a lot better than what the weekend was. But I think that's more the concern on the Giants side is like, gosh, what if we overestimated? Because everybody thinks this is a playoff caliber Giants team. I think the concern from the first weekend is what if we overestimated that?
Yeah, I'd love to get your 2 cents on the Padres. Dave Fleming is with us right now, longtime Giants broadcaster on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. I go back to last year. The Giants did not play the Padres well, but that was obviously a year ago. To your point, there's a lot of similarities between maybe the Padres from last year to this year. What are your thoughts? Again, this series hasn't started, but you've seen a lot of the Padres over recent history. How do you see the Padres here in 2026?
Yeah, it felt like a mismatch at times over the last couple of years. It doesn't feel that way to me now. I mean, part of that is the Padres just have gotten, it's kind of amazing how it's happened in a couple of years. This doesn't mean they've gotten worse, but they've definitely gotten older. The Padres are not as young, dynamic, athletic, flexible as they were even just a couple of years ago, where it was like every move they were making was bringing in another young stud or a big arm or whatever. It's just a different roster right now that feels a little less dynamic to me. And so the Giants better be able to hang with this Padres team. I mean, I think there are a lot of similarities between the two teams, and it can't be as lopsided for the Giants as it was the last couple of seasons. I mean, especially last year, it was ugly at times. Like the Giants did not compete. The Giants competed better against the Dodgers than they did against the Padres. And, historically, that's not been the case. The Giants have come down here for a lot of years and really played well in this park. That needs to turn around for the Giants.
Dave Fleming joining us, Giants broadcaster here on the Schaefer and Sliwa show. Dave, speaking of just kind of sticking with the division, and it's interesting just to look at it from a Padre perspective or a San Diego perspective. The division, obviously has been dominated. Now, you don't technically have to worry about the division. The Padres had some chances in September. Really played some of their worst baseball last season and didn't have an opportunity, even though the Dodgers kind of left it open. It was on the table. How do you approach just kind of seeing what the division looks like and the type of resources that are happening in LA versus some of the other resources around the NL West? How do the Giants look at the division in general when you do look at what's obviously gone on in Los Angeles?
Yeah, that's probably a couple different questions. I mean, I think the Giants themselves are trying hard not to look up north, look down south, north for you guys, right, and say, we have to get there right now. Nobody is going to match the talent level that they have in one off season or one, turnaround, one managerial hire, one free agent class. Not going to happen. So I think the Giants are trying hard not to do that. And realize that there are other avenues to get to the playoffs. Not to say that they can't win the division, but don't look at that roster and say we got to go toe to toe at every position with them. That's not the way. The fortunate thing is that's not the way this sport works. In other sports, if one team hoarded talent the way the Dodgers have, it'd be over before it started. Mm-hmm. The beauty of baseball is that's not the case, and the beauty of baseball is that 2 years ago this Padres team had the Dodgers dead and should have beat them and eliminated them. And last year, the Blue Jays had them dead and should have beaten them. Now, do the Dodgers get huge credit for coming back and winning those series and ultimately hoisting the trophy? They do. They showed championship stuff doing that. But along the way, both of these last two, the Dodgers were right on the precipice. So nobody should be under the impression that this is some bulletproof, absolute slam dunk, Dodgers win, why play the season? That's not how this works. But I'll put a period on that part of it and say this. Somebody here in the West needs to build to the point where they can push the Dodgers in the regular season, because the luxury that the Dodgers have right now of kind of coasting and mixing and matching and resting and, Blake Snell, pitch in August if that's what you want. Like, we'll pay you $40 million, and if you don't show up until then we're fine with that. And Yamamoto, take a month off, go back to Japan if you want and chill out, or what, the things that they're doing with their roster to be as fresh as possible for October, that is a massive advantage. Somebody in this division over the next year, 2, 3, whenever it is, has to step up and push them in the regular season to force them to compete through 162 the same way that literally everybody else in the sport has to do.
Really well said. Dave, we're looking forward to 2026 and tonight down at Petco Park, the first of 3 between the Giants and the Padres. We appreciate you taking time for us, and best of luck throughout the course of the year. So thanks for doing it.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, glad to talk to you both. Talk to you again soon.
Great stuff from Dave Fleming. Again, long time, outstanding broadcaster
Polished
for the
voice.
San Francisco Giants. Yeah, I mean, ESPN and radio and television. He's had some iconic calls. He's been there for the 3 Giant championships, right? In the 2010s and
with Boch.
Yeah. And listen, I get it. You start 0-3 and you're the San Francisco Giants, and what their history is proud, right? I mean, their resources are significant historically.
Yep.
And their new manager is a huge question mark.
But that's I think the piece of it. I think any other team that starts out 0-3, it's because they went so out of the box with their manager.
Yeah, that's why there's attention. It's not Bruce Bochy's 9th year and they're 0-3.
No, exactly my point. The attention is there because you hired somebody with no major league experience. So it's impossible not to have this just magnifying glass on their manager.
By the way, we never gave away the Sesame Place tickets. That's on me.
Welcome to the show,
Welcome
Alan.
to the show, Alan.
Wait, what happened?
I just forgot.
All right, I got you. I'll remind you next time.
All right, we're going to do that coming up next. So we'll give away a 4-pack of tickets to Sesame Place. Do not call now. We'll let you know when to call. On the other side, there's a reason why they call it March Madness.
Yep.
And it played out yesterday. That's next on San Diego Sports 760. All right, the all-new Schaefer and Sliwa San Diego Sports 760. We're giving away a 4-pack of tickets to Sesame Place in 5 minutes. Great giveaway.
So is that a thing where you forget to give it away?
All the time. And when I say 5 minutes, we'll do it at some point.
Well, there's
At 5 o'clock.
No, we're doing it in 5 minutes, Brent.
Okay, but
hold me to it.
There is it's not fair because when you're sitting in, predominantly you're going to be driving the show. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of times, just give you from my perspective.
Right.
It's like you're sitting in the passenger seat and you're looking out the window.
Right.
And a lot of times you're like not even paying. You're driving.
Right.
You got a lot of things that are going on.
Right.
The least I could do is just say, hey, John, got that giveaway coming up here pretty soon.
If you remember. But we get lost in like, well, we're having serious conversations about like whether we're coffee drinkers or not. Alan just asked me off air. This is day one of Schaefer and Sliwa. So we're kind of getting to know each other, even though we've known each other for years.
Yeah.
And we've talked at length here over the last handful of months. But
we Airbnb one time. 2 weeks we were together.
Did we?
No.
Like, I already forgot about that. But you asked me, like, am I a coffee drinker?
Yeah.
And you're like, black. I am not like a black coffee drinker. Now, you went down this path of like radio guys drink a lot of coffee.
Here's what's happening.
Is that true?
I think so. I think there's a thing here.
Okay.
Okay, so this is my first time too doing basically a 3-hour show here. So you guys got the kitchen over there.
Yeah, we do.
So I'm getting myself familiar with the kitchen.
Right.
And they got the coffee pots that are just sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when that coffee was brewed. I have no idea. Could have been Friday.
A few days.
Could have been Friday for all I know. I have no idea.
In this building, probably within the last hour.
Yeah, yeah. In this building,
they go through a lot of it.
I do.
I'm going right back in. So I asked you, I'm like, are you much of a coffee guy? So if I wasn't doing the show today,
would you drink coffee this late?
I don't think I'd drink coffee this late. Now
that's coffee right there.
This is a just straight
coffee at 4:30,
like diesel fuel. That's what it is. Yeah.
See, I
think that's going to be a big thing here on the show. And then I think I'm also not going to fall asleep till 2 a.m. Not literally, but sometimes.
But sometimes, here's the thing.
Yeah.
You'll get to know me, and Brent knows this. I'm very like, is the right term like frou-frou? Like, I'm not drinking coffee unless it has like things in it and like
needs
umbrellas.
To be in it? Yeah, tell me what.
Like vanillas and
what coffee have you had with an umbrella?
The thing is, I order a drink. I'm not a big drinker in general. Forget about coffee, but I'll order a drink because I'm like, oh, that sounds good. It comes out, it's like pink with fireworks and like.
Yeah, John's gonna get the thing at Starbucks that looks like a unicorn threw up.
Yeah,
all over it.
I get the weirdest drinks. I don't know why. I don't mean to.
But how
they're not even that good.
They're not even that good because this tastes literally like gasoline. It doesn't even taste.
No, that's the thing. I'm drinking it for the taste.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm not a beer drinker because if I'm going to drink alcohol, I want something that I like the taste of. You know, I have no problem with beer by and large. Like it's fine, but it's not like, oh, that's the tastiest thing I've ever had. I want something for the taste.
A black coffee is like the equivalent of like I don't know, you could say like a bourbon. It's like,
oh, bourbon.
I'm just going to sip on this thing.
Gotcha.
And it's going to do its job.
Right.
And that's kind of what this is.
So
there's going to be a lot of coffee. The only thing I don't like in the kitchen, as I'm already complaining.
What do you not like about the kitchen?
Brother, I'm worried about the Cheez-Its. I'm worried about the Cheez-Its.
Because you're just going to be throwing them back?
Who can have just like a couple of Cheez-Its and then just call it a day and everything's okay?
Put them in the cup and you end up with like 100 in a cup.
I'm worried about that.
And the trail mix, same thing. You
Do
can
I
have like
email somebody?
Calories.
Where's iHeart Corporate? San Antonio?
Yeah.
I think San Antonio.
Yeah. I don't think they're overly concerned about our snacks.
Well, if they're going to make me do all these, I got all these things that I have to do in regards to the harassment, all these things that I have to.
The least you could do
the
is
least they can ask is not even.
Well, what would you prefer?
I don't know if I have a preference. The problem, I don't have self-control. That's the problem. The problem is the self-control because there's also a trail mix in there. There's also trail mix in there. There's also these cheeses. I'm just saying that there's going to be some times where it's not going to look good for me.
We're going to give away these Sesame Place tickets in a moment. We'll get more into yesterday in March Madness coming up.
Yeah.
But just because we have a minute, we've all watched a lot of basketball. All right. You've spent a career covering NBA basketball now.
Yep.
I mean, and everyone's watched the tournament since they were young, if you're a sports fan. And you've all seen, it's crazy. You get it. Things happen. It's basketball. It's sports. It's one and done. But I'm sorry, I didn't expect that. Watching Duke UConn, and I'm watching the thing play out. I'm watching UConn step on the gas and get close. But with Duke's up 2, with the timeout, with the ball and 10 seconds left, I'm not expecting what played out. I never, ever, ever would I have expected it to play out like that.
It's not going to be the Chris Webber timeout. It's not that. But you'll remember it. I mean, that's one of the, especially because it's two marquee schools.
Duke.
It's this is the cream of the crop. These are the schools that are always in it. By the way, you can't even, the way you just said Duke is kind of the way you have to say UConn now.
Right.
I mean, UConn's
I know.
phenomenal. That will go down as all you have to do in that situation. I was doing this morning I was doing my NBA show, my morning show. By the way, if you are, and I don't know, we'll kind of do this, and me growing up in San Diego, I was a huge NBA fan. I think there's probably a decent amount of NBA fans here. So anytime we want to talk hoops, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
But I'm doing my show this morning, and I'm telling the audience, I'm like, do you know that's like a 1 in 1,000 colossal failure? Like that, you can't script that. The way they lost, the fact that all you had to do is hold on to the ball. You don't have to worry about a backcourt violation. You don't have to worry about, the clock is playing in your favor. If somebody's going to trap you, even if they got two guys that trap you, they're referee's probably going to call a foul because they need to foul.
Yeah.
The only thing you can't do
is what they did.
The turnover, which then you could start putting it into Connecticut and saying, hey, what they did was incredible to accomplish what they did. But by the way, do you still look at it? I wonder if there's a lot of Aztecs that are like this as well.
Great question.
I look at UConn and every time I see them, I'm like, I can't wait for them to lose. I was looking on my phone. I wasn't watching it live. Didn't have the chance to watch it live. I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, okay, so Duke's up 25 seconds ago. Okay, Duke's going to win. Let me just see UConn go down. And then I look at my phone later and it says game winner. I'm like, what the hell what happened?
I think I saw a stat. We could talk about this on the other side. I think I saw a stat. UConn has won 18 consecutive games from the Sweet 16 on. So if they make a Sweet 16, they've won natties, and now they're in a Final Four. I mean, it's an unbelievable run they're on. I love that question for the text line. Yeah, if you're an Aztec fan, do you see it that way? Like all you hope is for UConn to lose.
Can I tell you something even worse? And it dates back further. I'm the same with Arizona.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're also around.
You got both of these schools in it. It could be UConn, Arizona.
Yeah, and then what do you do?
Michigan's become my favorite school. That's it. I'll just pick anybody.
All right, call right now if you want 4-pack of tickets, a free 4-pack of tickets to Sesame Place. Caller 5, you are going. 877-767-4760. We've got a family 4-pack of tickets to Sesame Place for caller 5. 877-767-4760. Sesame Place is back and turning 4. And guests are invited to a birthday bash full of laughter, hugs, and furry fun. Open daily now through April 5th for spring break. Families can enjoy rides, the Sesame Street Party Parade, story time with Big Bird, and more. Tickets at sesameplace.com if you want that free 4-pack. 877-767-4760. What did it sound like yesterday with UConn's unbelievable magical win over Duke? You'll hear it next on San Diego Sports 760.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Padres open up a 3-game set tonight at Petco against the Giants. It's going to be Landon Roop versus Walker Buehler. First pitch is set for 6:40. Arizona and Michigan will head into this weekend's Final Four deadlocked as the favorites to win the national title, and they're nearly at a pick'em for their head-to-head showdown. Both the Wildcats and the Wolverines are at plus 175 to take home the championship, while Illinois sits at plus 400, and the Huskies are at plus 550, according to DraftKings. Tonight, we've got Lakers basketball on San Diego Sports 760 when the Lakers take on the Wizards. Bronny's probably going to score 27 points. Pre-game coverage will begin at 6:45, and the tip will be at 7. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
All right, we're batting 500 on giveaways. We've given away those Sesame Place tickets. We'll give away tickets to see Charlie Puth at Viejas Arena in 3 weeks.
Very
April
nice.
22nd. Schaefer and Sliwa hanging out until 6 p.m. So be listening for that giveaway. We were spending some time, obviously, on what played out yesterday between Duke and UConn.
Yeah.
That ridiculous finish.
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine.
Collapse. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
no, but it's a combo of the two.
It was a collapse.
It's a combo of the two because the collapse is one thing. The shot was nylon from 27.
He didn't think about
27
it. He
out.
leaned into that thing quick.
Which, by the way, you know, it's actually a great point. Michael Thompson, who, part of the Lakers broadcast team, but Michael would always say something. He's like, there's actually no pressure in those situations because you don't have time to think.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather
You
than, hey, there's 8 seconds left. I'm dribbling the ball. The crowd is all standing up, and you got this like that possession was so bang bang. I get that's a great reference of what's the pressure. I can't even think about what just happened. I'm just firing away, and it was cash.
Real quick, we'll hear what Ian Eagle's call sounded like. You've maybe have seen on social media the reaction of Bill Raftery. It looked like he was going to die. He was so shocked because they have the video of the broadcasters, Grant Hill, Bill Raftery.
That's right.
Bill Raftery, who has watched basically every game in the history of the sport. I mean, this guy has been doing this for like 6 decades. Mm-hmm. He had nothing to say. It was that truly remarkable. But I was just thinking about it through the lens of like, I can't imagine calling this game on either side. Like if San Diego State either wins that game, now they had a moment like it recently.
Sure.
They had a moment like it. Honestly, as memorable,
as good,
memorable,
and that took them to the obviously the championship game.
Right. The only way to top that is you do it in the championship game. But it was as good as it gets. But imagine being on the wrong side and describing it. Let's start there, Brent. Do you have the Duke radio call? I want to hear. This is the Duke radio call up to with the ball, 10 seconds to play inbounding. This is what it sounded like on Duke's radio network.
Get it in. They do for Boozer. Bobbled it. Back for Starr. Needs to get rid of it. Does for Caden. 7 seconds. Trying to throw it ahead. Deflected. Stolen by Connecticut. 2 seconds. It's Mullins up top for the win. Oh, he hit it. With 0.3 of a second to go. Malachi Smith ran off the bench. That should be a technical. But with 0.3 of a second to go, Connecticut has the lead, 73-72.
I like the style. His call was good until that, right? Like, you're not calling it technical. 0.3 of a second.
Okay, first off, that call is great.
It's a really good call,
because that also tone is like, ish. You know, what just happened
Can you
here?
imagine listening on the roads in Durham, North Carolina, and that played out?
Oof. but his quick run to, and I think Brent, this is where you're going with this. That quick run of that's a technical foul he got on is very much a fan.
Great.
That's a fan. He showed way more emotion going. The guy's running on the floor than he did when the guy hit almost a half court shot.
Forget the 27-footer. The guy ran on the court.
Dan Hurley, he head-butted Roger Ayers, the lead official, and did not get a technical. They're not going to call whomever on the floor because he's excited for a technical.
Where are you on? And you guys have probably had this conversation
Hurley?
a lot. Yeah, where are you on Hurley?
Very much over.
Jackass.
I mean, just, you know.
Can I tell you the worst thing about that? You said very much over. You said jackass.
Right. Where would
Hurley's
you
probably like, yes.
Yeah, bring it on. But here's what I said.
He probably loves it.
I haven't had this conversation probably in 2 years, but after San Diego State lost its second game to UConn and Boston in the Sweet 16 in 2024.
Oh, yeah.
I remember thinking about the distinct differences between Brian Dutcher and the way he handles himself and Dan Hurley. And the funny thing with that is, again, I personally, and it's easy for me to say this through, my rose-colored glasses, but I'm gonna take the way Brian Dutcher handles the day-to-day, the consistency with the media, with his players, with the fans, as opposed to the hot and cold way. Dan Hurley, how could you run cold? You've won 2 of the last 3 national championships. Now you're in a Final Four. But everything in the world has happened under his watch over the last 4 years. So I do not like the style at all. I can only imagine what it's like when he's not winning.
Well, can I tell you what happens?
Yeah.
Like, I'm with you. I love Dutch. Yeah. And there's no reason not to love Dutch. And we should be proud of what Fisher started and what Dutch has continued in San Diego. Really should be proud. I know it's disappointing for a lot of Aztec fans. They didn't make the tournament this year, but I'm confident Dutch will turn it around. He'll get them ready for next season. I don't like Hurley, but Hurley reminds me of, like, think of a player you hate in whatever sport. Could be the NFL, could be the NBA, could be Major League Baseball. But then you also say,
on your team,
if that guy was on my squad, I'm okay with that. Now, Hurley might be the exception because I really can't stand the guy. However, he's an amazing coach and gets results.
Right.
And that, at the end of the day, is kind of all that matters. But it is funny because he's got so much criticism and a lot of people don't like him. And it's his own doing. It's not like, anybody's creating a narrative for him. He's created that own narrative, but I think he likes it, which bothers me even more.
I agree with you completely on that.
For me, I just don't like him because he just goes with this narrative of everyone's out to get us. That one year when they didn't win the national title, it was just, everyone's out to get us. Everyone's out to get us. That's what I would expect, Shire to say at Duke, because everyone really is out to get Duke because people can't stand Duke.
Bro, we were cheering for Duke. When has anybody ever cheered for Duke?
And the interesting thing is, John Shire obviously is nothing like Dan Hurley.
Yeah.
Right? He's had, I say this in quotations, success early in his career, but then again, it's Duke. They've gone 10 years without a national championship with players like Zion Williamson and Cooper Flagg and the Boozer brothers. And I'm missing a lot of guys in there. Cam Reddish, who I saw, by the way, this weekend playing for the San Diego Clippers. Cam Reddish is playing for the Clippers. By the way, the San Diego Clippers.
That's right.
In the G League. He was top 3 pick?
Yeah.
Cam
Reddish was up there.
Handful of years.
Yep.
But I mean, imagine the talent pool they've had, the teams they've had the last 10 years without winning a national championship. I go back to the San Diego State analogy. If San Diego State had those same teams over the last 10 years, they've got national championships.
Jason Tatum.
That's right. Thank you. I mean, they've had ridiculous. Now, I think if you're John Shire, like from the Duke perspective, I think you're fine. You just run everything back. You get 3 of the top 5 players in the country, and you're likely sitting in the Elite 8 in the next 12 months. But you kind of never know.
Yeah, I was just going to say they're fine. But let me give you a great example, because I'll use Arizona as the example.
Right.
When's the last time Arizona won?
30 years ago, 97, their last Final Four.
You know how good Arizona is for the most part?
Tons
year in
team.
and year out?
Tons of great team.
Okay, let's use, it's not apples to apples, but Gonzaga. How many times has Gonzaga been ranked top 10 in the country?
20 times.
And never deliver. So the only thing I will say about the Duke situation and saying they're going to get so many more opportunities, they probably will. But here's the reality. You never know if this was that opportunity, because as much as you want to give Connecticut credit for that final possession of this, the storyline is not Connecticut won, it's Duke collapsed. Yeah. That's what it is. That is the storyline coming from the weekend.
I would not get over that very well. If San Diego State last night was in that position to reach a Final Four, and lost in that fashion, you're not going to see me for a while.
I'm going to go back to something. We were having this conversation earlier with Dave Fleming.
Yeah.
What did Dave Fleming say? The angle that he took about, anyone can be beaten. He goes, the Padres had them down, right? Yeah, so it doesn't even have to be, you don't even have to use an analogy. I'll go back to Charger days when it's like they're playing the Jets or the Patriots in a playoff game, or Marlon McCree gets the interception and wants to. Those stick with you forever.
Of course.
The Duke loss is going to stick with them forever. There's obviously losses the Padres have had. There's losses that those are sticking with you forever. But that collapse where, no, I think we were supposed to actually win the game. That's a different level.
Was it kind of was it the opposite of Leitner, by the way, last night, in terms of it's memorableness? Like Leitner, Kentucky, was that UConn Duke? I don't think it's Leitner, Kentucky. That's too memorable for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't think it is, because it was more of like this was more of a,
Yeah,
you
the
needed
opposite.
a bad play to happen to get to that play.
Yeah.
The Leitner play was just a perfectly executed, I get the ball, 3/4 court thrown to me, one
That
move,
was
turn around and
ridiculous
hit
play.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. On the other side, you posed a really interesting question that I want to get to on the other side. We can
Okay.
get to it in the 5 o'clock hour as well. Would you want the next owner of the Padres to own 27% of the Chargers? Because one of the candidates owns 27% of the LA Chargers. 877-767-4760.
And the question is basically, does it matter? Like, does that
matter to you?
Does it rub
Yeah.
you the wrong way?
I love that.
Would you look at it a little bit different? And I haven't had, I mean, I know I'm late to the game in this, but I'm not even, I think I have a pretty good idea, but I don't even know if there's still a ton of Charger fans like, yeah, that's awesome, that's phenomenal, or people they'd be a little bit upset by that.
How would it sit with you? 877-767-4760 or text us 70470. Start it with the word team. Here until 6 p.m. Giving away Charlie Poot tickets the 5 o'clock hour. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Schaefer and Sliwa, all new. Weekdays, 3 to 6, San Diego Sports 760. By the way, here's your lineup in terms of live and local in San Diego. Of course, you can hear Dan Patrick, followed by Colin Cowherd in the morning.
Yep.
And then you've got In the Zone with Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long from 12 to 2. A little bit of a rebrand. They've done good work, really good work over the last year plus. And then Sammy Long, who was with me for the better part of the last 3 or 4 months, helping out. And I really appreciate him doing that. We'll have his own hour going long with Sammy Long, 2 to 3 on 760. You and I have known Sammy for forever.
Of course. Yep.
And then you got us from 3 to 6, taking you home.
Phenomenal.
Weekdays on 760.
All right, that's good. We got a solid lineup right there. And
yeah, now I don't know if it's the Padres line. It depends what Padres lineup we see.
Yes.
Because so far we've seen him score 7 runs.
Yes.
Hopefully it's better than the Giants lineup, which has scored 1 run in 3 games.
By the way, that's unbelievable.
And by the way, scares me.
And I don't want to. Oh, I know where you're going with that.
Doesn't that scare
they
you?
got talent. They
But it
definitely
scares me because they're 0-3. All this attention on them. They're on Netflix.
Sure.
Everyone's there. Now they get to the road. You know, like there's less attention. I'm just worried about this series. I really am.
And what typically happens is you're gonna have a game where you score 5-6 runs.
Exactly. Just gonna break out.
Can't happen in this series. Can we
That's
just get
exactly
a good
right.
ass kicking today? Just a nice little,
Nice
little 6-1 game. Walker Buehler looks like a Cy Young Award winner. By the
That
way,
would be
what
nice.
are your
expectations?
Yeah,
I don't have them. And that's not to be, that's to put it just my truthful feeling. I don't have expectations. I'm not saying he's going to fail or succeed. I don't know what they're walking into in terms of the entirety of the year.
Yeah, listen, I'd be surprised. I think for me, the bigger surprise is he's solid and he's dependable.
Right.
And hey, wow, you know what? He looks a little bit like his old self. I think that would be more of the surprise. And if he struggles, it just wouldn't shock me. Right. I mean, and there's no risk for the Padres. Obviously the disappointment right now is trying to get Musgrove back and get him healthy. If Randy Vasquez is the pitcher we're all hoping he could be, if Pivetta just gets back. I mean, the biggest question marks right now is the starting rotation, but I'm with you. I don't know what to expect tonight against Buehler.
So we posed
with Buehler.
With Buehler. We posed the question, or you posed the question really, like, you know, where do you land on if the next Padres owner is also a minority owner of the LA Chargers? Like, how does that sit with you?
And this is Tom Gores, who owns the Detroit Pistons. Yep.
So 484, for example, and a few of you have texted in on this, 70470. You can start your message with the word team or call us. We'd love to hear from you. Padres fans, 877-767-4760. Like 484 says, he'd be okay with it only if the new Padres owner can leverage his new net worth to send Spanos packing. What if the new owner could buy the Padres, then the Chargers? And he goes on to say Spanos is a renter in an owner's world. I mean, you made the point earlier. We collectively did 27% of the team. It's a
big percentage.
That's what Tom Gores owns of the Chargers is a massive percentage. Yeah. Now I don't know what to be honest, I haven't followed the Chargers story closely since they've left. I don't live and die in every little report. Well, you know, Dean Spanos doesn't have the money to do this, that, or the other. I just have kind of left it alone. So I haven't even entertained the idea of what comes next with the LA Chargers.
Yeah, I think here's what I wouldn't want. Let's just say Tom Gores became the owner of the Padres. I'm not, and I think this could happen. Here's the risk. I don't want this cross-marketing stuff. I don't want this, hey, there is a history in San Diego. Do they look at it as maybe there's an opportunity here? Does Tom Gores become the face of it because you're moving Spanos out of the mix? Because obviously a lot of people despise Dean Spanos. I guess the question is going to be, the more I talk myself through it, I'd prefer somebody that doesn't own the Chargers. That's what I mean. As I talk myself through it, I prefer that isn't the case because listen, it's impossible, and this is always going to exist. And unfortunately, it's not going anywhere. I don't know for you where it's gone. I watch the NFL. I enjoy watching the NFL. But damn, did such a big piece of that passion for the NFL just go away? I understand the NFL is the beast. It's a king. I understand that when the Chargers were here, it was. When they leave, it's still the, obviously the brand, not the brand, but the NFL brand, nothing to do with the Chargers. But yeah, I'd say my preference is no.
I agree with you, but back to our earlier conversation, what if he was the best owner? Now, we don't know that.
Yeah.
But like, what if you had a crystal ball?
Okay,
and said of the 4 groups, he's the most committed.
Yeah, I think that's an easy answer. Then I'm going to have this would be purely for what gives you the best chance to bring San Diego its first championship.
Right.
And if that equates to the best chance of winning your first championship, I think your sacrifices you're going to have to make.
So the go down this path. The Padres win a World Series title, and their owner owns the LA Chargers. It's kind of fascinating.
I don't know if that's a question or a scenario.
Yeah, like I guess
but
it's a scenario.
if it's a scenario that played out, however you got it,
you
just doesn't matter.
You take it.
I mean,
yeah, of course you take it.
But I hate to say this because I am a San Diegan. We are the last city that can be greedy about anything when it comes to how you get your championship.
Right.
Okay? If you told me the San Diego Wave, who this week, you and I were talking a little bit about it.
Yeah.
All 3 wins, 9 points.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. If that's the first team, I used to have this conversation last season about SDFC. SDFC gets to
win their first year.
Gets to the semifinals. And I had a buddy of mine say, like, no, but we've had the Padres this long. Like, what if SCFC wins? I'm like, who cares who wins it? Of course, you take anything you can. I mean, we're just not in a position to be greedy.
Turning things down.
Yeah,
yeah,
of
completely
course.
agree. Completely agree. Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. Again, we'll take your text on it, 70470. You can start your message with the word team. Again, 70470. Start it with the word team. Coming up tonight, we talked to Kevin Acee earlier. You can find it on the iHeartRadio app.
Yep.
Once the podcast is up, you can find our conversation with Dave Fleming on the iHeartRadio app as well. Coming up, but
want a cup of coffee? I can go get you one right now.
I could use one.
You need one?
No, I got my Diet Coke.
Yeah, you did Diet Coke.
Brent knows. See, because we're getting to kind of know each other on air.
Yeah.
Brent knows that my vices in life aren't that crazy, but they're like Diet Coke and Celsius.
When you wake up in the morning, you don't need, or do you have a Celsius in the morning?
No.
Okay.
When I wake up in the morning, I have toast
with nothing.
That's all.
I'm immediate
butter.
Coffee.
Immediate.
You
go right to the coffee.
Glass of water, and then I go straight.
How many
coffee.
cups do you have a day?
Typically 2. But now that we're doing,
you also work late, so you do a night show.
Yeah. Well, now that we're doing this 3 to 6, and I'll give you an example. Lakers got a game tonight, so I'll do a post game show after. They play a really, really good team.
Wizards, right?
Washington Wizards.
Look out.
Yeah.
Have they won yet?
There is such a race in the NBA
to the bottom.
Who could be most pathetic.
I hate that. I'll be honest with you.
Okay, but here's the problem with it. The NBA has incentivized teams to lose.
I know.
So I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I hate it too. It's pathetic.
Yep.
But if I'm running a team, if I'm running the Washington Wizards, kind of brilliant the way they're executing.
It's what's best for their future.
Yeah.
Based on how the rules are written.
The Oklahoma City Thunder did this. It's part of the reason how they got Chet Holmgren. It's, there's teams, there's franchises out there that did that. But of course, that's something that's got to get figured out. So to answer your question about coffee, yeah, it's enough.
It's enough for today.
That's probably enough. Yeah.
Let's get to, on day one of Schaefer and Sliwa, let's get to the wrap. We will have the 4 sports stories that we deem
I've never done this
talk
now,
about.
So this is...
Yeah, we're going to do that with you on the other side. We'll get to the wrap on the other side. Also, coming up at the 5 o'clock hour, we're giving away a pair of tickets to see Charlie Puth at Viejas Arena on April 22nd. A terrific giveaway that we'll do in the 5 o'clock hour. Here till 6 p.m., day one of Schaefer and Sliwa. Stay with us on San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. The Padres are getting set to open up a 3-game series tonight at Petco Park against the Giants. It's going to be Landon Roop going against Walker Buehler. First pitch is set for 6:40. Arizona and Michigan will head into this weekend's Final Four deadlocked as the favorites to win the tournament, and they are nearly at a pick'em for their head-to-head showdown. The Wildcats and Wolverines are both at plus 175 to take home the national championship, while Illinois is at plus 400 and UConn sits at plus 550 according to DraftKings odds. Tonight, we've got Lakers basketball on San Diego Sports 760 when they take on the Wizards. Our pregame coverage will begin at 6:45, and we'll have the tip at 7. The only thing better than grabbing a Blizzard treat on a warm, sunny day would be snagging a second one for just 99 cents with the Blizzard double flip deal. It's buy one Blizzard treat, get another one for just 99 cents when you order in the DQ app. DQ, happy tastes good, for a limited time at participating U.S. locations.
It's Schaefer and Sliwa. Jon Schaefer.
When you think about the city of San Diego, some of the worst ownership groups, with the Clippers situation, with the Chargers situation, even the Padres ownership history, hasn't always been smooth sailing.
San Diego's own Alan Sliwa.
I felt like we went through a stage of baseball where everything was so predetermined. Why even have a manager? What's the point of having a manager?
Here's Schaefer and Sliwa.
Final hour on day one, the all-new Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. Should we try to do it again tomorrow, or is this day one and only of Schaefer and Sliwa? I think we're going to make it weekdays, right?
Yeah, we're going to make it weekdays. And yeah. I'm on vacation Wednesday through Friday.
By the way, we do need to talk vacation schedules.
Okay.
Are you a vacation guy?
Yeah.
As in you take vacations,
yeah,
right? Okay, yeah, me too. I mean, I'll do it more.
I started, maybe I took advantage of the system a little bit.
Have you already taken vacation before you started?
No, but...
Last week I was on vacation.
When I was at Disney at the time, I had accrued like 4 weeks now.
Right.
So I had 4 weeks a year.
Oh wow.
And let me just tell you.
That's nice.
I used the 4 weeks.
You used the 4 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you're like my wife.
Yeah.
In terms of Okay. Well, that's good to know. We'll figure out vacation.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it.
We'll figure it out.
Here's the thing. Here's the good thing. Take our show anywhere. That's also the beauty of today's world.
Yeah, where you could just do the show remotely. Yeah.
Anywhere you need to do it.
100%. All right, this hour, we're giving away a pair of tickets to see Charlie Puth at Viejas Arena. He's playing there April 22nd, so we'll give away those tickets coming up this hour. In addition, we're getting you ready for tonight, Padres and Giants. Game one of a 3-game series, but we've been doing this for a while, and we'll do it on day one of Schaefer and Sliwa.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Who's your pick to win the national title?
You're going to start with all these. Okay.
All right.
And then there were 4.
I'm going to go Michigan.
Okay. How come?
When San Diego State lost to Michigan.
They were unbelievable that day.
And I want to say they lost by 40-ish.
40 on the nose.
Okay. 40 points. In my head, I had no idea how good Michigan was.
Same.
And I'm like, this is one of the... Did the San Diego State just play one of the worst games they possibly played? And I think the very next game for Michigan, they won by 40 again.
Against Auburn.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. So around those numbers, right?
And then what did they do the next day?
Like a 50?
They won by over 30 against Gonzaga.
That's right. Okay, that's right. So that's
insane.
I started feeling better about San Diego
Right.
State. I'm like, maybe Michigan is just one of these squads. They won their Elite 8 game by 33, I want to say.
That's insane.
Okay, so I'm going to go Michigan because I refuse to pick Arizona and I refuse to pick UConn because I'm petty. And that has a lot to do with it. So I'll go Michigan.
Here's what I kind of wish, but you can't for bracketing.
Okay.
I'd reseed this because I think Michigan, Arizona is your title.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when the Western Conference Finals is the best 2 teams standing.
No, Michigan, Arizona is your title.
That's the thing.
I
So
agree with you.
I don't love that. I'd prefer to see it Monday night.
Yeah.
But since we'll see it Saturday, I agree with you. I'm taking Michigan. I want to know, is San Diego State the only common opponent of the Wolverines and the Wildcats? I should look that up.
Oh, that's a good point.
They may be.
Arizona's
I'm not sure if they are.
phenomenal too.
They are. And I'm just looking at it through the lens of what I saw. And San Diego State gave Arizona a much better game than they did to Michigan. Although the Aztecs trailed by 9 against Michigan at half, believe it or not. trailed by 1 against Arizona at the half, believe it or not. I'm going to go with Michigan. I think they're the best, most well-rounded team. I think their offense at its best is clearly the best in college basketball. So I'm going to go with the Michigan Wolverines to beat Arizona in a close game and then to win by 10 plus in the title game.
Here's the worst part about all that. That means all UConn's got to do is win one game, and anything can happen in one game.
I completely agree.
Completely agree. Jesus.
Completely agree.
I don't have the scores, but according to a Google search, the common opponents they have are UCLA, Auburn, Alabama, San Diego State, TCU, and Purdue.
Okay. They both played those schools. Okay. According to interesting. I wouldn't have thought that. Next question, Brett.
Who's the best team in the Eastern Conference?
This would be NBA, not NHL.
Okay, because I was ready for the NHL.
Yeah, I wanted
bring
you
in
to
the
break
hockey
down
talk.
The Red Wings.
Bruins?
I mean, I would not be the person for that.
No, why?
All right, Eastern Conference, kind of easy one. For me, it's very easy. And listen, sometimes you could have a squad that has the best record, and then you could have the squad that's you look at and you just watch them play. The Boston Celtics are the best team in the East. And I would use the word shocked. I'd be shocked if they're not in the NBA Finals. The Knicks have never proven anything.
Yeah.
So and even though on paper I think Knicks have one of the best rosters in the NBA, I love watching the Pistons play. I think Detroit's been a phenomenal story. They've been so good
with Cade, right?
Cade Cunningham. You got that issue. But even if Cade Cunningham was 100% healthy and he was available, Boston has something that I think a lot of teams are trying to catch up with in the NBA. OKC's already done it. That's not a problem. Spurs are already there. But it's this just system. Hey, you just bring in, doesn't matter what player,
right.
Doesn't matter if this dude came from the G League, doesn't matter. And of course, they have stars and they've won an NBA championship. I think Boston's the best team in the NBA. Or I'm sorry, in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. We're going to agree on a lot of things today. I would. It's hard to pick against the Boston Celtics
Take Atlanta
in the postseason. No, I'm not going to do that.
Hey, they went through a streak. They went like 11 in a row.
I mean, if the Wiz get hot, they've only lost 2 straight here.
Do you want to hear something sad about the Washington Wizards?
What, they allowed 83 points to Bam?
Just one thing?
Yeah.
Guys, you know Anthony Davis is on the Wizards?
Like the team?
Do you know D'Angelo Russell is also on the Wizards?
Wow.
Like there are players that just a couple years ago
I know
were in the Western Conference Finals or doing that. I mean, Anthony Davis has fallen so far off the map
that he plays for the Wizards.
The man played for, I think, 29 games total for the Dallas Mavericks.
That's insane.
Luka Doncic just went through a month where he put up 48 and 7. And just doing okay, I'll give you one more stat here, and then you can give me your
I say Boston.
The Wizards thing, or back to taking it from the Wizards thing. Anthony Davis played 29 games. Luka Doncic has been a Laker for just over a year.
Mm-hmm.
How many 40-point games do you think Luka Doncic has?
29.
Okay. LeBron's been there for 8 years. I should ask that question.
How many 40-point games do you have?
Yeah.
29.
He has 18.
I mean,
Luka has 17. Wow. Luka's been there for 1 year. LeBron's been there for 8 years. He already has 17 of what LeBron has done over 8 years. And we're talking LeBron, not just some random person.
What you're saying is Luka would be very good on the Wizards.
What I'm saying is that Anthony Davis-Luka trade, probably not a good trade.
It might not have been a good one for Dallas.
Probably not a good trade.
Anthony Davis pretty much just exists to be traded now.
I know. It's true.
He was a stud. He just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, that's the issue. Next question.
Is automatic balls and strikes the biggest change in modern baseball history?
You'd have pitch clock. You'd have shift. They eliminated the shift.
Right.
You'd have ghost
Extra
runner.
innings.
Yeah, ghost runner.
Yep.
There might be something else in there. I don't know what it would be.
Is that
Replay.
the biggest shift?
Replay is modern baseball added.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
And I'm going to say the pitch clock is.
Yeah.
Because I think the pitch clock just changed. There was a portion of baseball that you just accepted. It's very slow. It takes forever. Guys will stay on the mound between pitches for 25 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever the case is. It really did change kind of the entire atmosphere, I think, for baseball. and I like it. I don't think it's a bad thing. So I'll say no. I'll say it's a pitch clock for me.
You know what? The two I would pick would be pitch clock or ABS. I'm going to go with ABS because I think what's going to happen, like in the postseason when everyone is watching, it's literally going to change the outcome of the game. Where you're going to have like a called strike 3 to end game 5 of the NLCS and be like, just kidding. Ball 4, the inning prolongs, 2-run score, and now the team that would have won the NLCS is now out. So I just think its impact on the game itself. I'm with you on pitch clock. I think that's a big win for fans. I mean, the average MLB game last year was down like 30 minutes over 5 years earlier. It sounds like 240, which is terrific. It's like the same length as an NBA game right now. But I think in terms of what it's going to mean for like wins and losses, and I think once we get into the postseason, people are going to be blown away in terms of what's going to play out with ABS. So, yeah, to me, it's as big of a change as we've seen.
We have such a small sample.
Oh, it's nothing so far.
We've done nothing, right?
It's nothing so far.
So far.
I like it.
You like it?
I like it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. I just think it's right. I don't need to see every pitch ABS. Like, I get the value of the umpire. I'd prefer they call the balls and strikes, but I think it's pretty compelling.
Yeah, the only hesitation I have, and this has happened in every sport, now anytime you're watching something live and you get excited about something that just happened, you have this brief hesitation of like, wait, are they reviewing that? Are they going to do this?
Right.
Are they going to challenge it?
You got to wait on it.
It's stopped kind of, it takes away that instant. You have to now pause in all of sports because of replays, all that stuff.
I almost think it's ABS just because the ripple it's going to have with just the umpire union. Because
it's going to change everything.
Because if this goes well,
yeah,
the ump's job is pretty much you stand there in case the computer breaks.
But it doesn't it feel like, I don't think you can really say whether it goes well. It's a computer.
It's going to go well.
Like it's not going to be wrong. So I think the question, Brent, is more got to do with, are we just buying time until the umpires are gone? Because what I would ask is, well, why don't you just do this for every pitch?
Yeah, that's where we're probably heading. I was surprised they didn't use it at the World Baseball Classic. It's like you only have this every 3 years. We're not going to do it now. We're going to do it in spring training.
And they're testing check swings in the minors this year too, so that'll be coming soon.
A lot is going to change. Final question here on the wrap.
We did the East. Who's the best team in the Western Conference?
A little more subjective, right?
Yeah, I think it's just San Antonio played so well against Oklahoma City Thunder this year.
I remember, earlier, right?
But until you take out the champs, I'm always going to just lean towards the champs. I actually think right now the way it's set up is Lakers and the Spurs could play potentially in the second round.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Victor Wembanyama has never played a playoff game. Right. Now some of these other guys have. De'Aaron Fox has, Harrison Barnes. They got some players. But they got also a ton of young guys. Stephon Castle. They got a lot of really good young players. Never played a playoff game.
Yeah.
LeBron's in his 23rd season. Austin Reeves got plenty of playoff experience. Obviously, Luka Doncic has been to the NBA Finals, all this. So I got just that hesitation on the San Antonio Spurs because so I think it's OKC.
I'm with you. I think OKC. Just watch them. Even yesterday, I'm watching that game against the Knicks. Shea is so brilliant. He really is. He will find a way, and some of it is to his credit. Like he'll either get to the free throw line or you just want the ball. I want the ball in his hands because he's so cool and calm and collected and clutch. And his Jalen Williams being back healthy. And
I was just going to say what makes them so crazy too. They're so young. They're so athletic. They got great defenders and they got 10, 11 guys they can go to.
And I feel
they got players. They got players on the team they don't even use that I'm like, oh, this dude on any other team is a stud.
And I like a team that's led by a guy that truly is like a leader. I just watch Shea and like the guy wants to win. Like he leads the right way. In my opinion, in watching him the last 2 years, I've been very impressed by Oklahoma City. Now, it wasn't easy last year. A little bit like the Dodger conversation with Dave Fleming from earlier. It wasn't just anointed to them. There were some seventh games in there. They had the benefit of the Halliburton injury. They could have absolutely lost that game. You'll never know.
Sure.
But to your point, it's like Oklahoma City's been through the rigors. It's going to be hard to bet against them heading into the 2026 postseason.
So I think we both just said OKC Boston in the NBA Finals.
So it's probably going to be the Wiz against Sacramento. All right. On the other side, more on ABS and what we've seen through 3 games and its potential impact on Major League Baseball here in 2026 and beyond. Plus, we're giving away these Charlie Puth tickets this hour for April 22nd at Viejas Arena. This is Schaefer and Sliwa on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, San Diego Sports 760. We've got SDFC back Saturday on the road, taking on San Jose. Coverage beginning at 7 on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. You briefly mentioned earlier the Wave have played really well to start their season.
Yeah.
SDFC, and we'll touch on this a lot, obviously, on the home for SDFC, and throughout the course of the season. Their 1+ year run in Major League Soccer is ridiculous. To the point where, again, to some extent, maybe some of that goes under the radar. It's Major League Soccer. If this was an NFL expansion team,
of course,
that went 15-2 and then started 4-0, you'd be like, "Are you serious?"
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, what they've done, it's like everything they touch turns to gold. SDFC.
It's added such a unique element, And by the way, I think there's something to this as well. MLS has obviously been around for a number of years,
30 years.
The moment a stadium was available,
they're like, "We're getting to San Diego."
Like the right stadium.
Right.
It's a perfect size. I think exactly that stadium, I'll give Snapdragon a lot of credit in this. What it houses is perfect for everything that it houses.
It's crazy, right?
That's what you want for San Diego State football. That's what you want for an MLS game. I mean, listen,
WSL.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, of course, it was amazing to have Qualcomm Stadium and you could have 65,000. You don't need 65,000 for an MLS team. You don't need 65,000 for San Diego State football. Right. This is the perfect fit for it. But like you mentioned, man, it's been such a great addition to the city. I went to a few of the games last year. I went to the 2 of the postseason games. I went to 2 of the regular season games as well. There's nothing about that experience with SDFC, nothing about that experience, in the heart of San Diego and Mission Valley where you're like, yeah, this belongs. Like it's just a perfect fit.
Right.
And then you put some success towards the squad, and here they are making a playoff run in their first season. Incredible.
Hosting the Western Conference Finals.
Incredible.
Yeah. And now the expectations, it's like we talk about this sometimes in sports. It's one thing to do it from a position without expectations. And then it's sometimes when the shoe's on the other foot.
Yeah, it's much different.
It's different. But to their credit, and I know it's early, this would be like talking about the Padres if they were 3-0 and be like, they're going to win the World Series. I remember last year when they were 14-3, the problem with the 14-3 start was the only acceptable outcome was either winning a division or making a deep postseason run. When you start 14-3 and you lose in 3 games the wild card, it just feels like, it was kind of fizzled out. But with SDFC, it's like coming off a Western Conference final, you have all these expectations. Seems to me like they might be able to live up to them in year 2.
It's crazy. It's incredible. And like I said, and like you mentioned as well, and I found myself, doing this. I'm catching myself. I've never followed MLS before.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with before you and I were figuring out coming to the States, all that stuff. No, there's another San Diego team in a professional team in San Diego. You start following it. You start paying attention to it. I was looking at, you kind of start paying attention and be like, how cool would it be? All right, try to get a crew together, X amount of San Diegans together. Let's go to a road game here or whatever the case is. We got the opportunity to do that now. And I think that's, obviously a great addition to the city.
To your point, I'm sure there'll be SDFC fans in San Jose this weekend when they play back with Major League Soccer's regular season underway. They had that international break period, but back underway this weekend. So we briefly touched on ABS, automatic balls and strikes. It has, I think, taken baseball by storm its first weekend. My general takeaway is it's forever changing the sport. Now, I don't know exactly how or what or why, but not just forever changing the sport, Alan. The thing to me is like, it's these moments where it's like, why didn't you challenge that? You just changed the complexion of an inning or an at-bat or a plate appearance, and that changes the complexion of a game. Or why did you challenge that? And, there's so much like the game within the game. Baseball already has a lot of game within the game. Like it's a very nuanced sport.
Sure.
You're adding an additional level of nuance that to me is going to be fascinating to play out. If you're a diehard baseball fan, you're sitting around 100 times watching the Padres this year, you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to talk to your TV, be like, why didn't he challenge it? Or, the opposite side of that as well. And I think it's going to have a huge impact on wins and losses.
It changes the entire strategy of a game. I know that sounds dramatic, but it's not. I mean, I could tell you this from an NBA perspective. You get 2 challenges a game.
Right.
So in the first quarter, you're asking the question of, and you could look at, every player wants you to challenge, and then it's up to the head coach. The head coach usually looking at, they got one person with an iPad who's looking at it and is like, okay, hey, I don't need every player to tell me to challenge this. Let's see what the actual replays, shows. So obviously you get a chance to see it, but it changes everything, because if you use your challenge in the first quarter, a lot of the broadcasters are going to say, well, why using it this early and this? Right. But it does change the strategy in a game, and I think that's going to be the same thing for baseball. My only thing, which I got to get over it, and I think I will. I think we'll get about 30, 50 games in, and I'll say, okay, hey, I'm used to it. I'm just not used to it right now. So there is this, like, I have this pause and some hesitation. Do I like this? Do I not like it? Is it just more important to get the right call, and that's all that matters? I think there's I have that hesitation, but I know that's going to go away by the time we're in June. I'm not going to be thinking about that.
Yeah, but it is still different. I don't know. It's like you grow up watching the sport the way it was played. Like, I even still think I see Padres Tigers on opening day. I'm like, oh, interleague. Yeah. Like, my brain still goes there a little bit. Or like,
do you like interleague play?
I do.
Yeah, I do too.
I do, because it kind of like, you're going to play 200 times. You can at least switch up the opponents.
Okay. Do you when they made the change, they went from 19 divisional games down to 13,
12 or 13, depending on opponent. Yeah.
Did you like that or no?
I like it, because it's like enough.
How many times to see the
Diamondbacks?
The people that make the argument of like, oh, I can't believe, I don't want to see, when they say I don't want to see the Tigers, I'm like, I do. We're seeing them once a year. What's the problem?
Let me see Bobby Witt Jr.
100%.
A sport like the NBA. I get to see LeBron James in my city if I have an NBA team, right? I could be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm not missing LeBron James. I'm not missing Luka.
To see him once a year.
But why would I miss in a sport with 100 million games?
Yeah.
I'm missing Mike Trout in his prime just because I'm a National League city. I'm 50 miles from Anaheim, and I'm going to miss. It's more than 50 miles. But, we're this close to Anaheim, and I'm going to miss Mike Trout in his prime. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm going to miss Shohei Ohtani because he's in the National League and my team's the Baltimore Orioles.
I'm okay to miss him. I'm fine.
I am with that as well. But you get the point.
No, there is a, obviously just in this division alone, first off, I don't need to see the Giants 19 times.
It's a lot.
I don't need to see the Rockies 19 times. I don't want to see the Dodgers 19 times. There's also, from just a strategic perspective, it's like,
of your games.
I don't want that many of my games going up against that opponent.
Right. When the Phillies are playing them 6 times and you're playing them 20.
Let me get a taste of, and I love the idea of, all right, the Red Sox are here, but then the following year you're going to be in Fenway.
Yeah,
it gives San Diegans a chance to say, hey, I'm going to go I'm going to go watch the San Diego Padres go into some of these different places. Baseball, I give baseball a lot of credit, because I think it's the sport that was so hesitant to change anything.
Yeah.
They ain't hesitant.
No, they change a lot.
And by the way, it's phenomenal. I give it, because baseball's always been this, they're the most old school.
Rigid, yeah.
And I give them credit for how many changes they've allowed to be changed. And I think fans appreciate some of the changes too.
All right. On the other side, we have a very important topic we haven't discussed, and it's Mason Miller's walkout music. In fact, he's commented on it with the media. You'll hear what Mason Miller has to say about his entrance music, Blind by Corn. What does Mason Miller think about it? Why did he choose it? You'll hear from him on the other side. Plus, we're giving away Charlie Puth tickets, not his entrance music, but we're giving away those tickets on the other side here on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. I just put that in there.
This report is sponsored by Staples. The Padres are getting set to open up a 3-game series tonight down at Petco Park against San Francisco. It's going to be Landon Roop going against Walker Buehler. First pitch is set for 6:40. Arizona and Michigan will head into the Final Four this weekend, deadlocked as favorites to win the tournament, and they are nearly at a pick'em for their head-to-head showdown. The Wildcats and Wolverines are both plus 175 to take home the championship, while Illinois sits at plus 400 and UConn sits at plus 550, according to DraftKings odds. Tonight, we've got Lakers basketball on San Diego Sports 760 when they take on the Wizards. Pre-game coverage will begin at 6:45. We'll have the tip a little after 7. Staples has hundreds of great ways to boost your brand, like spectacular signs, brilliant brochures, and eye-popping posters, mouth-watering menus, and more. Shop now through April 18th and save up to $125 on all your custom prints. Staples, that was easy.
All right, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We've got Charlie Puth tickets to give away April 22nd at Viejas Arena. So, we now know that Mason Miller's entrance music is Blind by Korn. We're not going to play it right now, but I'm sure a number of you saw it on social media.
It was between that and I think a Whitney Houston song.
Yeah,
it was down to...
It was that and Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Here's the thing. I don't think I'd be a
dogs out.
I don't think I'd be a good closer.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be a very good closer.
Okay.
Couple of reasons. A, I can't throw like harder than 48.
Sure. You can hit 48.
I don't know if I can throw harder than 38.
Quick question right now.
If I got out there
right now, there's one in the pitching machine. You think you hit 48? I don't know. It's 50-50 for me right now.
Me, I don't know if look
I might go sidearm.
You could
tear my have a Tommy John
arm
and
out.
Call it a day.
The point is, I wouldn't be a good closer because I'm not good at pitching, but also my walkout music would be like Ants Marching by the Dave Matthews Band. It'd be something ridiculous. It wouldn't be very intimidating.
Yeah.
I'm not a Blind by Korn entrance music guy. You know what I mean? I'd have maybe classical ensemble or something more reasonable. But like when Mason Miller comes out, like he's already he throws 105. And he comes out to Blind by Korn and it's like he throws 110.
Yeah, that does match.
Right?
It's got to match with, because you're right. He's not going to have, a Bob Marley song on. He doesn't have He doesn't have soft jazz on.
Right.
Coming
Imagine
out
if he
there.
did, because that's like maybe it would work even more impactfully.
But I will tell you this, there's a lot that's been made about his song.
Tons.
And there's a vibe to it as well. And I think it's going to hit. I mean, you know this as well. It's going to hit very, very well in San Diego.
Absolutely.
And he's
especially the history of closers in San Diego, right?
Okay, so there is like a piece when I saw it, a couple of nights ago, there's a piece of me that's like impossible not to think of Trevor Hoffman.
Of course.
Impossible. Because when Trevor Hoffman used to come out at Qualcomm Stadium to Hell's Bells and the entire, he owned the stadium.
Yeah.
In that moment, he owned the stadium. He owned the ninth. Mason Miller's got some of the dirtiest stuff in all of baseball. Everybody wants to talk about his fastball. His slider is
filthy.
Really just absolutely filthy. But there is a vibe that comes with it. It's a whatever it is, your stuff has to back up. I don't care what music you have. Does your stuff back it up? Obviously, his stuff backs it up. And tonight and every game moving forward, if you're in the 8th and you know that Mason Miller's coming in the 9th, there's going to be this anticipation for it, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Brent, what you have? Did you have some?
I was going to say your walk-up music would be like when Homer on The Simpsons boxed the Mike Tyson equivalent on the show, and the Tyson equivalent came out to like this hardcore aggressive rap song, and then Homer came out to Why Can't We Be Friends?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be your walk-up
would be
music.
It'd be something about tofu or something. Anyway, this is Mason Miller inside the clubhouse this afternoon talking about his first thoughts when Blind by Korn was suggested to him.
I know you said you had seen that documentary before, but what was your initial reaction when they played it for you in spring training?
It was a little scary for sure. So it's kind of captures a good, ominous vibe coming in the game. So it's been cool to see how much it's, kind of been blasted everywhere. So that's reassuring, I guess. You always want to have people enjoy the song. So,
were there any other finalists under consideration for you?
Yeah. I'm gonna keep those in case I have to change. Maybe we'll capture the same anxiousness everybody had for it.
What was it like running out to it the other night? Like, were you focused on the song at all? Were you hearing it at all?
Music is what it is, but you just kind of feel the energy of the moment, and going into the game. First game for me this year too, so just anxious to get out there and pitch.
Were you a Korn fan before? Did you know the song, or maybe it was before you were born?
Yeah, before I was born. So yeah, I think I probably have heard it. I was on Dennis, though. I saw a documentary on the Woodstock thing probably 6 years ago now. So I did know of it, but I was not familiar with it by any means.
What have you thought about the reaction? Some people love it, some people whatever. What have you thought about all that?
I was kind of unexpected, but whether or not you like it, it seems like it's kind of taking off with social media and all that. So that's a good thing, I think. So love it or hate it.
It's clearly the best walkout. So who is the second best walkout in baseball?
I like Duran for the Phillies. I think that the production and just I think it's a mix of two songs, if I'm not mistaken, but I've always enjoyed it. Even when he was with Minnesota, I thought it was great.
Who were the clubhouse managers in particular that introduced you to it?
I think TJ Leela was he was the head of it for sure. Tree and Cole both were big on it too. So it's good. They bring the energy in here every day. So obviously I was gonna hear him out. And
all right, that was what's interesting to me when I hear Mason Miller?
Yeah.
Is he's so unassuming when you hear him speak. That's often the case with professional athletes, right?
Yeah.
But this guy, I mean, we had made a point last night. I did doing a YouTube show. Is there anyone you'd rather have pitch an inning if your season was on the line anywhere in baseball than him? I mean, he'd be up there. So like this guy,
it's a very, very, very short list.
He's not unassuming on the mound. I mean, he's doing things that nobody's ever done. You hear him talk, he's like humble and quiet and reasonable, focused. And then you see him on the mound, you're like, this guy's unhittable.
That's how some of these guys are.
Yeah, right? That's just how it is.
I think you said it right, athletes. Sometimes you listen to a NFL player post game. And I'm like, wait, you're the same dude that
did that?
Had 7 tackles in the game and 2 sacks. It's like it's just absurd, but yes.
But that's what I've liked. I've made this point a lot over the years. What I kind of appreciate about a Manny Machado is that he just says it how it is. What's on his mind, he's not scared to ruffle feathers. Now, listen, it'll lead to topics here where I'll be critical of Manny sometimes, and other times I'll praise him. But I appreciate it because in a world where you get less and less of it, I see it. It sticks out positively to me like a sore thumb when someone actually just is willing to speak their mind.
Yeah, I think with athletes, and I don't know Manny's a good example because even Manny Machado can represent the San Diego Padres, has represented the Padres well, and is also part of SDFC, has represented the San Diego well. He can also rub people. There's some times where I'm like, Manny Machado is annoying me, or he's rubbing me the wrong way. Imagine how he does to an opposing team. You think of guys, it doesn't always work to their benefit. I'll give you, I'll use Draymond Green as an example, right? Draymond Green speaks his mind. A game ends or a playoff game ends, he'll go on his podcast, say whatever he wants. I don't have a problem with it. I love the honesty, but there's a lot of times it reaches a point where I'm like, wow, it's annoying, or is it helping your team? Is it not helping your team? Mason Miller is as unassuming as it gets. He delivers. Obviously, what he does on the mound is incredible. But yeah, some of these personalities, you don't have to have. It just depends on who it is. And when I say depends on who it is, Tatis is not going to be the loudest person in the clubhouse.
He's not.
Machado will say whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and that's just going to come with the territory. And you might perceive Machado one way because he does open his mouth, and you might perceive Tatis a different way because he's quieter. If that makes sense, right? Like
100%.
Just kind of depends on the players.
Yeah, and I would say this with they traded away Leo DeVries, one of their top prospects for Mason Miller. You just got to be comfortable with it now. You got Mason Miller. He's brilliant at what he does.
Yeah.
We don't know what happens with Leo DeVries over the next 6 years. We don't know what happens with Miller. Listen, Mason Miller's elite.
Can I ask you this question? Because I find myself going back and forth here. Do you worry about it?
I don't. I don't view it through that.
When you see the success, some of the, we'll use
Like
the
James.
Nationals as an
No, but
example.
They traded they got the whole farm from the Padres, right?
Yeah.
The Nationals are no better off today than they were the day they made that trade. If anything, they're probably worse. And there's going to be times you get beat. But that's kind of the point. You can't win them all, is how I see it. It's like, to be a good trade partner, you got to be willing to take some risks.
You know what it is? I think what it comes down to more, literally the term that we all use, it's used for baseball. You traded away the farm.
Literally.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the idea and the concept. I don't take back the Juan Soto trade. I don't.
Okay. Neither do I.
I don't take back I don't know about the Mason Miller trade. I don't know yet.
You reserve judgment.
Because I need to see what happens.
Okay.
But at the same time, the only hesitation that you have is you have this mentality of like, okay, but you better cash in. Problem is they haven't cashed in. They didn't cash in. So it's impossible not to then ask the question of, well, should you have done that trade or should you not have done that trade? I mean, you and I both remember it, and you know it much better than me because you had this microphone in San Diego. Juan Soto being traded to the San Diego Padres, that was one of the most shocking things. And I still think there's probably still waves of benefiting from that Juan Soto trade, whether it's Michael King,
Randy
whether it's
Vasquez.
Randy Vasquez, right? So it's not like the Padres only had that 1 year and that's it.
Right. There's layers to it.
But at the end of the day, you always ask like, okay, well, if you're going to do this, then what does that do to your bar? If you're going to trade the farm like they did last year at the deadline, what does that do to your bar? Well, that bar was raised and the Padres did nothing with it. And then they were out in 3 games against the Cubs.
Fascinating conversations. Almost somewhat unique to baseball, by the way, too. The way trades happen, the way you trade away the farm for a player that can help you at the major league level. All right. We're giving away the Charlie Poot tickets on the other side. Day one of Schaefer and Sliwa here until 6 p.m. Don't go anywhere. This is San Diego Sports 760. We are live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, final time here. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We do want to congratulate our winners in iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. There is still time to donate to a classroom project, and your donation will be matched by Donors Choose. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. I have a question for you real quick.
Okay, what do you got?
Pick a number between 1 and 9.
7.
All right. Caller 7 is going to walk away with 2 free tickets to see Charlie Puth at Viejas Arena on April 22nd. Call right now, 877-767-4760. He just performed at the Super Bowl, did the national anthem. He's performing here in 3 weeks, April 22nd at Viejas Arena. If you want 2 free tickets, be caller 7 to 877-767-4760. Another great giveaway for you here on Schaefer and Sliwa. Call right now if you want those free tickets. So we've
if caller 7 doesn't say thank you or anything like that, I'd be a little disappointed. You know what I mean?
They should ask you if you want to go.
At least extend the offer. I can't go. At least extend the offer.
Yeah, 2 tickets, not 1, right?
A little common courtesy.
What'd you think of day 1?
When are we going to El Cajon?
I'm down. Are you going to show me around? My 7-year-old son really wants to meet you.
Okay.
Because he's very curious about the new show.
Okay.
And the name and
how are we going to do this? We're not that far from each other, just office. And
I know, I like that.
Yeah.
So how we're going to do it is an undisclosed location.
Yep.
Because he's gonna have some tough questions for you. He's 7.
Now he's a big Clipper fan. You said,
right? And
I could break it down for him. I could break it down for him.
In what
I can
way?
help him.
Like, be like, hey, you don't want to do this.
No, he can do it. I don't have an issue with somebody, being a Clipper fan, but I can help him. Where's the team going? He can ask some questions on that too. I'm an NBA junkie, so I can help him in regards to that.
I told you that Saturday I went to see the San Diego Clippers in Oceanside. Did I mention that? Nathan Mensah, former Aztec for Life, played in the national championship game. He played like 30 minutes. They just signed him like 2 days ago. He played a lot of minutes in that game. What is it like? Because I don't have this perspective.
Okay.
What's the dichotomy between Lakers and Clippers fans? Obviously, there's big brother, little brother.
Yeah. Well, here's Laker fans are just, wildly spoiled.
Yep.
Right. You've had
everything,
tremendous amount of success. And when something is not yours, you're saying, well, how is that possible?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean it's been 5 years since they won a championship? I just as spoiled as it gets.
Right.
For the Clippers, there's a saying, and it's true. And even Steve Ballmer being there, it's like the same old Clippers. They have that stigma. And I don't really even know how to explain it. I mean, obviously, there's a completely different ownership.
Right.
Should be. We'll see what happens. Some of this aspiration stuff, some of the stuff that's kind of hovering over the Clippers.
A new building, obviously, the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, this guy just, whatever it took, you got him out of this, got him out of the arena. They got Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Obviously that was a big get for them. But even before Kawhi, it started changing with Chris Paul and
like Lob City days.
But they still have never won anything. They've never been to an NBA Finals. So what's the when you look at both of the franchise, you look at one franchise, it cannot be more opposite. One franchise that literally has never been to an NBA Finals, and another franchise that has 17 of them.
Right.
So there is the power of the Laker brand is real power. That's I mean, it's a worldwide brand. It's the Cowboys, it's the Yankees, it's Manchester United.
So let me ask you this real quick, because I'm curious. What makes someone a Clippers fan?
What makes somebody a Clippers fan?
You know what I mean? Like is it just like familial or whatever? Like you're born into it?
Can I say Mets Yankees? Is it that?
But is it? Because the Mets have multiple championships.
No, it's not. That's not a good example.
Is it Jets Giants?
See, I think Mets Yankees is a good analogy for this reason. Not judging based off what they've won.
Yeah.
More along just based off of I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, is it like Mets and Jets and Islanders?
Because a lot of Mets fans, I assume, became Mets fans because they were sick of having the Yankees shoved down their throats. Kind of like how I became a Bears fan because I got sick of having to listen to all the Packers stuff nonstop,
Right.
to where they almost became a Mets fan out of default just despite the Yankees.
There's also something about, like, in sports, right? You want to say, well, I'm a real loyal fan. And there is something to
being a Clippers fan.
Like,
You're loyal.
My team hasn't been successful, and Clippers is just one example, right? Like, you could say that about
Padres don't have a title.
They don't have a title, absolutely, and it comes with the, like, well, I'm loyal to that team, and you could point at somebody else and say, yeah, but how did you become this fan? Whatever. I'm just using it as an example. So there is probably a little bit some to that. I mean, I don't think.
But isn't it an interesting question in New York? It's funny because a lot of Mets fans like the Jets, and a lot of Mets and Jets fans like the Islanders. I'm like, you picked the wrong teams, bud.
It's true.
Like, and maybe some of it is like, it's more special when your team does win. When the Mets have a year, when the Jets, it never happens, have a year. When the Islanders also historically for 40 years doesn't happen. Have a year, it's that much more special. When you're a Yankee fan, the expectation for day one is if you don't win a World Series, it's a bad year. When the Mets win the NL East, it's a great year. They don't have to win the World Series. They won the NL East. You know, it's just an interesting
10 years, John. 10 years we'll have. This is my because the way you break it down to have that many teams, obviously in one city.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned the Islanders, you mentioned some of these. 10 years.
We'll have all those teams in San Diego.
Just give us one more professional team
in the next 10 years.
Whichever one of the the major sports.
Right.
But you got to build it first before anything happens.
Well, that's exactly right.
And that's what obviously did happen with SDFC. But you got to, I
like that.
I
speak it into existence on day one.
I'm absurd about my confidence level in San Diego.
Right.
Because I genuinely believe you can't ask for a better market if you're a professional, if you're a sport out there, whether you're hockey, NFL, or NBA. How do you not want San Diego a part of the mix? Now, we got to figure some stuff out on our own, and obviously you got to have some ownership that figures it out as well, but we'll get there.
We're going to get there. I like that. Day one, my friend.
Day one.
That was fun.
That was awesome. By the way, it went by very, very fast, and kind of nice, if I'm being honest with you. It's also nice to kind of get day one out of the way.
Day one out of the way.
And we could just kind of go to
let's
work.
Let's get to Tony Gwynn opening day.
Let's
get to day two. I'll tell you what, this felt like a 3-hour show, not like a 4-hour show.
Okay, good.
That's how quick it felt to me.
Good.
All right, great stuff. New lineup on 760, including Schaefer and Sliwa. Afternoons from 3 to 6. Be with us all week long and all year long here on San Diego Sports 760. If you missed anything, we'll have a podcast page within the next 24 hours. Stand by for that. We're on YouTube. We're on social media.
Yep.
We're updating everything. Give us 24 hours. For Brent Sperry and Alan Sliwa, I'm Jon Schaefer. Keep it here. We're back tomorrow at 3. This is San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.